Best Love Podcast.
It is Wacky Thursday, apparently.
Something that you guys aren't used to is we're going to start this week's episode with a Mount Rushmore.
Yes,
instead of ending with one, well, we still will end with one. But you guys get two Mount Rushmores this week since we didn't do one last week.
Right, because y'all listened last week, right?
And to clarify, Ben, it's Thursday because that's when they hear it.
Oh, that's not live. Don't tell them. They don't know.
Hey, just like any product, it's live to tape.
It's Saturday night!
Yeah.
Live for me this morning and Saturday night.
Alright, so the Mount Rushmore we missed last week, ran out of time,
Yep.
is based off the NFL did the top 100 greatest plays of all time.
Yep.
So we each picked our favorite four and wanted to go over them with you. Anybody want to start?
I'll start off.
Oh, okay.
So my first one is called the Immaculate Interception. It was James Harrison. You all seen James Harrison on Instagram?
I actually we talked about that play. Remember last week?
Oh yeah. Huh.
That was the first Super Bowl I ever watched.
Yeah, I remember
It
that.
was him Cardinal. It was Steelers Cardinal.
So he had 100 yard pick six. He is such a big guy to be getting 100-yard pick six.
Well, yeah, because in his career, he was never really fast. Like,
He wasn't even
ever.
fast then. He
It was-
had really good blocking.
It was just such a crazy play that I had to pick it.
Yeah.
Get it? Pick it?
Yeah, next I'm gonna go with
That was
the
good.
Music City Music.
It's interception.
The Music City Miracle.
Love the music.
That was like the first. I think that was the first NFL moment.
Yeah.
And a lot of people,
So what I was debating here is whether to choose the Music City Miracle or the Philly Special,
Ooh.
and it was really
I
hard.
think the Music City Miracle's better just because it's perfect because it's a combination of skill and luck.
Yeah.
And some of them are all luck. Like the Minneapolis Miracle's kind of more luck than skill based, and some of them are more skill than luck based.
Yeah.
That one's a perfect combination.
Yeah, that's why I chose
The
it.
Philly Special is more of a skill one than a luck base.
Yep. And
a
then
bad defensive read.
Yeah. This was a skill.
Because I think Nick Foles wide open. But anyways.
yeah. Anyways, then I chose the Minnesota Miracle just because it's so close to home. I was watching it. It's just, and it's recent. It's in my memory. I still remember Diggs, whatever he wants to yell. I said Diggs interception.
Pass is caught.
Yeah, for a fumble.
Sideline, Diggs,
See, yo.
See, the only reason why I thought about it, but that one, I don't like that one just because it's purely luck. Like most of the
It's-
yeah.
But at the end of the day,
it's
it's
the
the Vikings. Like the Vikings have never had
That's
a playoff. Like they've never had anything like that in their playoff runs. It's always been the opposite. Like it happens to the Vikings, not
Like
for
the
the
Blair
Vikings.
Walsh one.
Like Blair Walsh, Gary Anderson, Brett Favre. Like that happens to us. Not
The
the
first
other
ever Hail Mary, like,
I mean,
was thrown against the Vikings. Like, that's the luck that they have.
And then my last is the greatest moment of all time, coming from me anyways. Tim Tebow to Demaryius Thomas for the overtime win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tim Tebow is the greatest athlete of all time. This secured my happiness, even though we don't talk about the next game against the Patriots, but that moment will forever be probably one of my favorite moments in my NFL as I get older and everything. So watch the NFL. I'll always remember that. That was not my first major memory of it, but it's like the best one I have of like actually watching it live and everything and being like into it.
I just realized something. Demaryius Thomas is a New York Jet, right?
Yeah.
he was a Patriot to start the year.
Trevor
I know.
Siemian is a New York Jet. Is that where you're going?
No. But Tim Tebow is in the minor leagues of the New York Mets. Could we maybe see in like a school game show Tim Tebow to Demaryius Thomas?
I'm so confused. I'm lost.
What?
Well, so
Okay.
Tim Tebow went to Demaryius Thomas was the winning player of that game. I think it was in Brendan's tournament. And
Yeah.
Tim Tebow's in New York, and so is Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, that's what he's
Okay.
saying there, but
That's
Okay, I got you there. But what after that?
I don't know. Well, let's just move on.
They
to
play
you.
catch.
In baseball or football?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Ethan, what do you got?
Alright, my first one is it literally did, like, it didn't really mean anything to the season, but this was one of my first memories as a Vikings fan, and it was Greg Lewis catching a game-winning touchdown against the 49ers from Brett Favre in 2009. It was an insane catch. It was back of the end zone, tiptoe drag swag.
I remember watching
There was 0 seconds left on the clock. Like, as dumb as it sounds, before the Minneapolis Miracle, that was like all the Vikings really ever had for greatest plays of all time.
Right.
Because it was such an insane throw. Brett Favre had to put it in the one spot it had to be. Greg Lewis, it was insane. Like I said, we beat the Niners on it, and it was such a cool play. And that's really where actually I kind of got into sports, was because or sports play calling, to be exact. Because Paul Allen, that was the first time I ever heard Paul Allen call a game, and it was just so cool. Greg Lewis to from Brett Favre, it was so cool. Next one I got is Antonio Cromartie, 109 field goal return. It was a missed field goal, coincidentally, by the Vikings. It came up short. Antonio Cromartie took it all the way to the house, 109 yards. It was just really cool because Antonio Cromartie is one of my favorite cornerbacks of all time. So I wanted to put him on here. The other one I have is the butt fumble, just because it's so iconic. Mark Sanchez running into Nick Mangold. You know, I mean, it's just a synonymous play. Like, it's at the end of the day, it's not a great play. Like, it should be greatest plays of all time. Like, but it's just so
It's memorable,
funny.
yeah.
It's such a memorable play. Like, it's just crazy how he fumbled by running into his own teammate.
Specifically his butt.
Yeah, specifically his butt. And then finally, my fourth one, obviously I had to go with the Minneapolis Miracle. I'll never forget, I was in my room watching it. My parents were out in the living room watching it. We thought the game was over, so, you know, I walked away pissed off. I was like, oh, we lost. And then it happened. I ran back into the room. I was screaming, yelling, jumping up and down. I was so excited. I mean, it was so amazing. We all started tearing up because it was so cool. Like, it's so cool just to see it happen for the Vikings, just like we talked about just a couple minutes ago. Like, to actually have it happen for the Vikings instead of to the Vikings makes it so much better, you know. Obviously didn't mean shit, considering we got our asses kicked the next week.
But it's moments. We're not talking about the next week,
yeah,
remember?
Yeah. It was such a exciting thing, especially against the Saints. Like, you know, from us, you know, Brett Favre throwing that interception 2009, and then for us to be able to, you know, do it against the Saints, like, it made it so much better. So yeah, those are mine.
Who's next?
Duncan was looking at me, so I feel like I should go next.
You're next in order.
I thought we were just going like.
I'll go then. I'm going.
It don't matter.
All right, so my first one is the David Tyree helmet catch. I mean, Patriots coming in to win this or lost. They won all the games, 16-0. They come into the Super Bowl. Eli Manning rolls up, kicks his ass.
Oh man, I talked to a Giants fan at SuperCon. He wasn't like that knowledgeable of sports, but he was like, "Hey man, we're the ones that beat you guys twice." I'm like, yeah, you just sat the only person that can beat Tom Brady.
Yeah,
that's healthy.
I think that was an important game in history too, because the Patriots could have gone 17-0. Thank God they didn't.
Yeah, right.
My second one,
the Dolphins or
is the Antonio Freeman heated what catch. This one you'd recognize if you saw it. This is the one where Antonio Freeman, it hit the Vikings defender in the back of the hand, and he's in the air, and Freeman's on the ground, and it bounces off his shoe and his knee into his hand, and he picks it up and runs it in.
Oh, I remember that.
You guys should look it up right now. It's one of like the most insane catches. It was a pure luck one, but it was just like, it was insane. It hit the Vikings, the guy in the back of the hand, and
I know Antonio Freeman is.
And Al Michaels Paul made it like 10 times better.
My third one was the immaculate reception. Obviously, it was an amazing play. Yeah, see that one.
He took it for a touchdown. That's awesome.
And it was against the Vikings.
And that was an overtime winner too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an overtime winner.
No.
Yeah.
That was one of the first plays of overtime too. I had the immaculate reception. Obviously, it was Jerome Bettis right who caught it on the deflection, and ran it back. It was his last game of his career. He ran it for the touchdown. I mean, it was so crazy to like if you watch the clip of it, because the camera guy doesn't know where the ball went. And all of a sudden you see Jerome Bettis running out of nowhere.
Have you guys seen the Jerome Bettis commercial that's floating around?
Mm.
About like Jerome Bettis playing flag football and
that's
fucking
funny.
through people?
And then my last one is from the 2015 divisional game between the Cardinals and the Packers, which was actually just put as 31 as the 31st greatest game of all time. Aaron Rodgers coming back down 6 points with 30 seconds left, two 50-yard passes down the field. The last one, rolling to his left, rolling to his right. Jeff Janis against Patrick Peterson and
Honey Badger.
Tony Jefferson.
Oh.
Jeff Janis, Aaron Rodgers being sacked, throwing with his right hand while being tackled, running to the left. Caught it over both of them. Amazing. Pushed OT. Obviously we lost, but...
And then, like, another insane play by
Another
Lucas
insane play.
Gerald.
But, you know, it was one of those games where I was so glad I was watching. It was insane.
But you were pissed. When
Yeah,
they
I was
lost.
pissed.
But now you're like, well, I lost to Larry Fitzgerald, so...
That was the same year, or that was the same year that Rodgers threw the Hail Mary in the Lions game, too.
Richard Rodgers caught it, right?
Yeah, and the one in the Giants game. Randall Cobb caught it. In the first round of the playoffs. Until the end of the second half.
That was it, right, Ben?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Alright, well, I'll go, because Pablo didn't understand the order.
No, I said I thought you were going this way, so that means I would go next.
Brendan causing problems.
You know,
That's what I do.
Yeah, I think Noah should get to go.
okay. Alright, well, so my Mount Rushmore for top moments. First off, I did the David Tyree helmet catch because it's just an insane play. Eli Manning breaking out of the sack and
Right.
and that's it. Like, he just avoided a complete sack, you know, because Eli Manning is such a mobile athlete,
Oh, yeah.
you know. And then he just
When I think athlete, you and man comes
Yeah,
from.
right,
Me too.
exactly. And then he just realistically, I don't even really think he knew where it was going. I think he was just like
Throwing it, yeah.
And then David Tyree with the incredible catch, which ended up, you know, I think it was just significant history because they won the Super Bowl and beat the undefeated Patriots.
Yeah, if you watch the moments and we're going to talk about that play, Eli says he's like, I just got out and I saw David Tyree at his throat. I didn't know
Yeah.
who was around him or.
And it's crazy because David Tyree was literally irrelevant the rest of it. Like, he was
Yeah.
irrelevant before that, but the
He
Giants
actually-
fan.
They almost pulled him for the game because in practice he dropped every single one.
Isn't that crazy?
It's so crazy.
And now he's forever known in NFL and Giants lore. That's crazy. And then I also did the Immaculate Reception because that was like the first like big like NFL moment.
Yeah.
Like that was the
glad
first.
that one as the number one.
Yeah, like that was the first play that really got like its own name. Like you actually go out in the Pittsburgh airport. They literally have a Franco Harris statue of him just grabbing the ball. It's that big in Pittsburgh, and that like kicked off what was the dynasty of the '70s for Pittsburgh. And then of course I had to have the Minneapolis Miracle because it's the freaking Minneapolis Miracle. That's one of the most, like, when you think of just Hail Mary miracle plays, that's literally what it is. It was a miracle. It shouldn't have happened. It was awesome. I watched it live and I was even freaking out, and I'm not even a big Vikings fan. I thought it was awesome. And then I did this one for just purely personal reasons, but I just want to make sure that no one forgets about this play. So in that same Arizona Pittsburgh Super Bowl, we obviously had James Harrison's interception, and then you had Santonio Holmes corner in the end zone. Those were like those are like what, 2 in the top 10 for top plays. Mm-hmm. I don't want anyone to forget that very drive before for the Cardinals, the 10-yard slant by Larry Fitzgerald, and he just went 60 yards dead sprinting everyone. I thought, like, it was seriously, like, that would have been the play in the Super Bowl if Santonio Holmes wasn't a thing. Like, he was off the slant, and, like, you know, like, there were so many players that could have, like, tackled him, but he just really turned on the Jets and went 60 yards down the field. Everyone was freaking out, and it was just, he scored a touchdown, he, like, pumped both his fists up, and it was just like, oh my gosh, Larry Fitzgerald's going to win a ring. Arizona's going to win a Super Bowl. Kurt Warner's going to get another one. Because I was rooting for the Cardinals because of Kurt Warner. I just thought it was an awesome play. I just don't want people to forget about it because it definitely gets it's pretty cool moment. But okay, Brendan, now you can go.
Maybe.
He's ready.
I just don't want to go.
Alright, well,
Here he goes.
The best play to watch in the history of the NFL. I don't care what the actual statistics are. I don't care what actual people think. It is by far the butt fumble. I literally celebrate it as a holiday every year because it's just so great. And literally, I was with Ben last year when it happened, and I called Mike, who's essentially my dad, and it was like, Mike, happy butt fumble day. He's like, happy butt fumble day. So great. That's the best thing Mark Sanchez ever did as a Jet.
Well, other than lead the Jets to 2 straight AFC championships, but whatever.
No, I'm better.
The other one I got is William. You know, he's
WWE Hall of Famer. Throw up to the hard side.
He's a WWE Hall of Famer. He was really good. Great. I was a defensive guy. But this play is not about something he did defensively. No, I'm talking about his 1-yard rushing touchdown, where he just moved people, 2 people the size of him, although nobody was the size of him. Just aside and walked in. That's essentially what it was. Then I have Moss catching the one hand over Revis when he was with the Patriots. I think it's really funny because Randy Moss was a Patriot at the time when it happened against Darrelle Revis, who ends up being a Patriot for a short period of time.
Who hasn't been a Patriot?
I haven't.
Larry Fitzgerald. So
I
don't
haven't
remember
and
him.
will never be a Patriot. I will retire first.
Yeah, no,
I
Patriots tried to
appreciate you.
pursue Ben, and Ben was like, "There's no chance I'm playing for you guys."
Then
Ben's
they
not
were
a
like-
cheater.
Then they were like, "What if we actually pay you, Ben?" And he's like, "Nope."
Not worth it.
Give you a lifetime deal.
Not worth it. My reputation's on the line.
Right?
I love the Bills.
Well, the Bills couldn't afford you, Ben.
I'll go play for the
They don't need
Dolphins.
to.
Yeah, Ben will take a pay cut just to stay off Patriots.
Cause yeah,
Anyways, the last one, Super Bowl 49 hero, Malcolm Butler.
See, and then it's funny because at the end of his stay with New England, he was such a problem too. Remember?
Yeah, he
At
was.
the end, he was like skipping practices and
Yeah.
Bill Belichick. And also one of the worst play calls in history. And
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right, but that's still just such a great moment.
It's
For
a great
Patriots
moment.
fans.
Ben brought this up earlier on like the moments that are play and luck, or skill versus luck.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, he said it is one of the greatest moments in NFL history. That moment should have never happened though. Like they honestly should have just ran it with Marshawn.
Yeah.
Lynch. One of the greatest goal line runners in NFL history. You know, like
Yep.
And he was
To
just
be
a
fair, the
monster game
Patriots
against
did
him.
stop him twice already before they threw it.
No, they threw it on first goal.
Did they?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why people were pissed. On first and goal, they threw
Yeah,
it.
no, not only did they have first and goal, they had first and goal with 2 timeouts.
Yeah,
Right.
And Mark Holmes was at like 200 yards that game. He was destroying the Patriots.
And it's crazy. Malcolm Butler literally came out after that, like after the game. He was like, I knew what they were running. Like I saw the formation. I'm like, I just beat him to the route. Like it was
Yeah.
nothing, anything special. But it just won him a freaking Super Bowl and kicked off the second run of the dynasty for the Steelers or the Patriots. So no big deal.
Not the Steelers.
I know it's not the Steelers.
yeah.
Are those your 4, Brendan?
Now, just know that I did pick these on literally 0 hours of sleep. Well,
Alright.
15 minutes
Yeah,
of
all the
sleep.
plays he had included like they were all Patriots involved.
No.
Yeah, the
William the Fridge Perry?
in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they played the Patriots in that Super Bowl.
Wow.
You're right.
Well, next we're going to move on to what we normally start off with the top 5 of the week. We're going to start off with some NBA hype up. The first NBA preseason game started today. It was the Rockets versus
Shanghai.
versus them.
I just saw that. I didn't
China or something.
It was like 140 to 70.
Yeah, it was something.
The Shanghai Sharks.
So it's time for us to put our bold preseason season predictions. Who's going?
Andrew
To the
Wiggins
cup.
wins Most Improved Player of the Year.
Oh, I like it.
26 points a game,
Okay,
6 rebounds, 5 assists.
I like
Raptors
it. I
win it
like
all
it.
this year.
Really?
No.
Okay, that's an
Wow.
interesting. That's very
I'm
interesting.
sorry, but you don't You don't have enough there. Bulls are
Sacramento.
going to be an 8th seed.
This is actually a bold prediction. I do believe Wiggins will win Most Improved Player, but bold prediction for me: Sacramento will finish as a top 3 seed.
Wow,
Interesting.
that's really interesting.
We're talking about the Sacramento Kings?
Yep.
No, like Sacramento's gonna be good.
Wait,
like
they're not a
top
G
three
League
seed.
team?
No,
Sacramento has been.
Sacramento's good.
They
They're gonna be
have one
a
of
fourth
the
direction.
best young teams in the league. Marvin Bagley is going to be a beast. De'Aaron Fox is
I love him.
one of the most underrated point guards in the league. Like seriously, he's so
That's
underrated.
where Darren Fox is?
Who else? They got Buddy Hield. Everybody thought that the Pelicans got a steal for DeMarcus Cousins, and look how it turned out. Buddy Hield is turning into one of the better shooting guards
Yeah,
in the league.
that guy can shoot threes like
Yeah.
no business.
I mean, the Kings are set up for a few years, and I honestly think that they will defy expectations this year. I think they can finish as a top 3 seed.
I like it.
That'd be interesting to say the least. I think Bulls are going to be an 8th seed.
I'll think Bowman's playoffs.
That's just because, I like the Bulls.
I think. Well, I think.
They play in the East, though, Ben. There's like
That-
nobody
well,
in the
right.
East.
Like the Bulls can be honestly like if that young team can just figure their crap out, like that can be a sneaky like 8 seed and stuff.
Well, it was kind of weird. It actually just seemed to be like one person was injured anytime you looked. We never had the whole team.
That's true.
That's why I think with the whole team, we can get some shit done.
Problem is last few years you guys have had the worst, honestly, the worst coaching. Fred Hoiberg was such a bad coach.
Yeah, good college coach, but just couldn't.
Yeah, he was a terrible NBA coach.
My prediction here: the Atlanta Hawks are gonna win it all. Cam Reddish is gonna be Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's even bolder than my.
Trae Young is gonna be NBA MVP of the last or of the playoffs.
All right,
Playoff MVP?
I'm just gonna come out.
I
and
love
say,
all those players.
Zion Williamson literally has to win Rookie of the Year or he's a bust.
I wouldn't say that
Ooh,
at
no,
all.
He doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely
at all.
not. Have you seen how good RJ Barrett is? That guy's good. People are even saying like he has a better chance to win Rookie of the Year as opposed to Zion. Let us not forget that RJ Barrett was actually the number 1 recruit out of high school, not
Yeah.
Zion.
Yeah, and if you look at Duke, RJ Barrett was their guy. Like when Zion went down, RJ Barrett is the one that stepped up, and he was that
Yeah.
leader.
I think at the end of the day, too, the hard thing with Zion is you still have young superstars that you need to distribute the ball to. Otherwise, that team's just not going to function. Because you got Brandon Ingram there, who he needs to revitalize his career, and he knows it. So, and then obviously him and Lonzo have chemistry together. So, but RJ Barrett's in the Knicks is going to be, like, he's just your only option, realistically, outside of Mitchell Robinson.
So
But
are we saying that RJ Barrett's gonna be like basically Devin Booker?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, he doesn't really, at least in my opinion.
Put up 50 points a game.
No, I
so
agree
lose.
with you.
He's Devin Booker, but not as like crisp of a shooter.
Yeah.
But
He'll be in that same situation. I don't think he'll be able to do it the same way that Devin Booker does, but I think Steph Curry could win another MVP this year too, without Kevin Durant and without Klay Thompson.
Sadly, yeah, I think so.
I don't even say sadly, and it pisses me off as a Timberwolves fan because we should have had Stephen Curry, but I think Steph Curry could actually win a championship this year, or Steph Curry win MVP this year. Sorry,
You see Clay or KD coming back?
no,
No.
there's no point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean,
I could see Clay coming back in the finals if they get there with
but I guess at the end of the day, I think you go for longevity with that Warriors dynasty.
right.
You don't let 1 year, just they've gotten their 3 or 4. I think it's 4 over the last 5 or 3 over the last 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
I think you got the rings. So wait for the longevity part of it. Build up more draft assets. Build more free agency. Signings. I mean, because the Warriors do have a good team this year, but I don't think they're the same level they were last year.
They're definitely not the like. No one's picking them to win the title. With
Yeah, I mean, they brought in sneaky good acquisitions like Willie Cauley-Stein and D'Angelo Russell, but I know there's serious talks that D'Angelo Russell will not be on that team after the All-Star break.
Really?
Yeah, like,
I've heard that too.
are honestly saying the Warriors only did it so they can get something in return for Kevin Durant leaving. So they signed Klay Thompson, and then they trade D'Angelo Russell to get something.
Right.
You know?
That makes sense.
Because at the end of the day, D'Angelo Russell is nowhere near what Kevin Durant was. Just like style-wise. Like, Kevin Durant was nearly unguardable. I mean, a 6'11" player, that can shoot threes. I mean, it's just insane.
Right.
But speaking of which, quick side note, the NBA is officially making the rule that NBA teams have to finalize an official height and age.
I
for
saw
players.
that. I'm excited to see
Because
how tall LeBron James
It
is.
was bullshit that Kevin Durant is listed at 6'9", when he is clearly as tall, if not taller, than DeMarcus Cousins and DeAndre
Right,
Jordan,
yeah,
who are listed at
exactly.
6'11".
Yeah.
So who's going to be weighing and measuring and
NBA.
aging?
Every NBA player has to have an official weight or official age and height listed before
Yeah.
the season starts.
Yeah,
So, but
there's a
what
lot
I'm
of
asking is who's conducting it? Like
The NBA.
Yeah.
NBA.
the commissioner.
They're
Yeah.
all going to go to like the different facilities and shit.
Yeah, like
Damn.
the T-Wolves will have. Yeah, like the T-Wolves will probably have their branch, and the Bulls will have their branch, and
So this has been a problem for a while because, I wouldn't even say it's rumors, but like stories go that Kevin Garnett was actually 7'1", but they wanted him to be a power forward instead of a center, so they had him listed at 6'11", so it seemed more fair.
well, I think it affects matchups too, because like obviously you can't when you're game planning, it's like well, this guy's listed at like you said, Kevin Durant's realistically the same height as DeMarcus Cousins, but it's like we don't game plan for that because they list him as what do they even list him as?
6'9".
He is
6'9".
not 6'9". That is bull crap. He is not 6'9". And that affects matchups. And you got to put a bigger body on him, and it's like,
Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't change what teams are going to do, because
no.
if you really want, Kevin Durant playing the small forward at 6'11", you can
You're
do that.
gonna put him there.
There's no rules restricting it, but it does, like Paul said, it makes it a lot easier knowing that Kevin Durant is officially 6'11", because,
Yeah.
makes a difference when you guys, even just 2 inches shorter at 6'9", like, it makes a difference.
Oh, for sure.
But, yeah, quick note. I don't know if there's any more bold predictions. You got any, Noah?
I got a couple.
Oh, you got a couple.
Boston Celtics get to the NBA Finals.
Really?
Ooh.
Yes, because here's why.
Taco Fall?
Yes, Taco Fall.
I like it.
But no, but seriously, so I think the Bucks are going to continue to rely heavily on Giannis. I don't think the Bucks as a collective team is that great.
I agree with you.
I think Chris Middleton got exposed in the FIBA World Cup, which
overrated, yeah.
Yes, which be like, it's just the FIBA World Cup, but now people are going to know how to shut him down. Brook Lopez is not going to do what he did last year. He just won't. They're going to rely heavily on Giannis. It's just not going to work come playoff time. And with the Celtics, they almost beat. A couple years ago with the young team that they had, they were a win away from beating LeBron and getting to the finals.
Yeah.
The next year they had expectations with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was a cancer in the locker room, and it affected their play. It really, really did. In my opinion, you get the same quality player with Kemba Walker. Obviously Kyrie's probably better than Kemba Walker, but for me, you get the same quality player and an awesome leader. That's going to improve everyone. Jason Tatum's going to have a bounce back year. I think Brad Stevens is the best coach in the NBA, or at least one of the top 3 coaches in the NBA. I think getting Enes Kanter is an extremely underrated signing that's going to enhance their defense. And, we joke about Taco Fall, but you give that guy a post move, he can be a force. I think Carson Edwards is going to be the most underrated draft because that guy's going to be able to shoot the lights out. I just think they're going to have a big bounce back year, and I think we're going to remember that this Celtics team is actually really, really good.
Yeah.
I also think the Rockets are going to get the 1 seed. I think James Harden and Russell Westbrook are going to
Really?
Yeah, I think they're going to work out perfectly together, but...
That might even be a bigger, bolder statement than the Rockets finishing as the first seed.
Yeah, no, seriously, because I think James Harden is a much smarter basketball player than we give him credit for. We think of him as this big bearded guy that travels and makes 3-pointers, but he's such a smart basketball player. He knows the situation. And if Mike D'Antoni's smart, You put James Harden at the shooting guard, let Russell Westbrook create a play or something, and then all James Harden has to do is just catch and shoot. Oh my gosh! Now, first off, that'll limit his load. The only problem is I don't think they'll win the title is just because they both, like Russell Westbrook and James Harden, are just so hard all game, balls to the wall all year long, that they're just going to wear each other out. Like, they're not going to, like, any chemistry issues. They're just going to be worn out because that's just kind of the players they are, you know?
Yeah.
So I want to mention something really quick. So today at work, there was a guy coming in. He was asking a lot about basketball because he was like, I haven't really paid attention to basketball since there's been no Michael Jordan. So then I had to explain how the Warriors kind of had this dynasty, and then this guy named Kawhi Leonard kind of snapped his fingers on that and shook up the NBA, made it all sorts of crazy, right? And I was kind of talking about how, like, literally, like, all but, like, 6 teams have 2, like, superstar players on it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, the NBA is going to be so wide open this year. It's going to be awesome.
One more minor bold prediction that I could see, 2 teams that are kind of probably underlooked going in this year, is I could see the Pacers or the Pistons getting to the conference finals.
I would agree with you more with the Pistons than the Pacers and the Pistons, because first off, Indiana was one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league last year without Victor Oladipo, and they had played really good. Like with Victor Oladipo coming back, like that team's going to be significantly better.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is with Oladipo, obviously the Pacers almost knocked LeBron out of the playoffs. I think it was 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, Pacers have always given LeBron a run for always have.
But the Pistons, the reason I bring the Pistons up is I think Derrick Rose, he is realizing his role in the NBA now, and I think him going to Detroit is really going to help him. I wish he would have stayed in Minnesota. Like, I really did. I wanted him to stay so bad. I think he's going to be good for that Pistons team because they have Reggie Jackson there, but like he's just never panned out in Detroit. So I think the Pistons preparing to move on from Reggie Jackson, like, we have Derrick Rose in case this doesn't work out. They try to trade Reggie Jackson halfway through the season. I think they could be a sneaky good team. I think with Derrick Rose, his veteran leadership, Blake Griffin, if he can stay healthy. Blake Griffin had a monster second half of the year last year. Then obviously you got Andre Drummond, who he's fallen off a little bit, but I mean he's still one of the better rebounders in the league. I think they could be a sneaky team, like a 5th seed, maybe a 4th seed, depending on if things shape out. Yeah, the reason I say both of those teams could make it to the finals is there's really no contenders out in the East outside of Boston.
Because realistically, the heavyweights are going to be Boston, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. I'm not buying Philadelphia. They're going to be really good defensively. But when it's going to come down to, we need to score more points.
When it comes to the ball's in Ben Simmons' hands with 7 seconds left in the game, I mean...
Ben Simmons did say, though, today in an interview that it's like, if I'm open from 3, I'm taking it. Which I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
But, because he's been working on his shot a lot. So, I mean, if he does, I mean, that's going to be good for them. But until I see it, I won't believe it. And, I don't know, I just think Philadelphia is just slightly... Like, they're a good basketball team. I think they're slightly overrated.
Well, here's the thing. This is good on paper, but we have not seen this combination of players work together. Like, we don't know how Al Horford's going to work with Joel Embiid.
I don't think it's
we don't
going to
know
work
how Josh Richardson's going to work in Philadelphia's system.
Well, first off, we don't even know if Joel Embiid's going to stay healthy for a full year. We don't even know that.
My final one, most of mine are in the East besides the Sacramento one, but the Orlando Magic, I could see them. They almost got into the playoffs last year. I think they did as the 8th.
They did. They made it.
They are one of the more underrated teams. They were like the 5th best defensive team post All-Star break last year.
Yeah,
Bamba.
They're a big team.
Bamba. But I think if Markelle Fultz can have like a full season where people kind of give him the benefit of the doubt of being such a high pick, Yep. He plays up to his potential. Like, it could be a really good Orlando team. I mean, they're young, and I just think they could be a good team. So, yeah.
I like it.
Remind me, I need to download.
Next, we're going to move on to some kid's about to make some money in California.
What?
Yeah.
Some children are about to make some money in California, Ben. Are you ready? Reapplying for college in California, UCLA, starting quarterback, $50 million a year. You want it?
$15 million?
Ben can't.
2023, you can do that if you want to. And you can request that much.
A year?
That's not how much money,
Like
that's
it's
just,
not that extreme.
it's
but-
not that extreme, but
$50 million a year is more than
More than the basketball
Yeah.
players make.
the governor officially, well, basketball, you can play basketball,
More than,
whatever.
Mike Trout makes in a year. I think Mike Trout only makes makes $46 million. I think is what his is.
Jeez.
Well, if you look at some of the colleges in California, they're making that kind of money. It's not like they're going to give it to one player.
No,
They can
I
throw
don't-
it out.
It's not going to be that extreme, but I do think. But hey, all I know is that like we're getting closer and closer to NCAA football coming back, the video game. So
I'm excited for that, but I
I'd
think
play it.
so. 2023,
Only for
is
the next
when-
Madden again.
they'll officially start or whatever.
See, I like the idea of college players getting paid. I really do.
I do too.
But at the same end of the day, most of the starters on those teams have full ride scholarships. You know, like they focus on that football. And everything.
Exactly, that's
Yeah,
where I'm coming
And
from.
that's my thing is you get a full ride scholarship to like UCLA. UCLA is like a $60,000 school. You know,
Right.
like a year.
Yeah,
Like, it
but
gets expensive.
I usually argue this though. Like obviously obviously not all of them are going to be NFL caliber players, but how many of those guys that you're giving full ride scholarships are actually going to stay in school?
That's
You know
true.
what I mean? Like, not like it's sad nowadays, but a lot of like these D1 athletes in football, especially like in the Power 5 conferences, they're not like Dwayne or not Dwayne Haskins, Cardale Jones. Like I'm not playing school, you
Yeah.
know. Which I mean, it's sad. I don't necessarily agree with it, but that's true.
I guess that is very true.
You know, so, but and obviously, like you know, the third string center for UCLA probably will definitely take the scholarship, but like he's probably not getting a full ride as opposed to like the starting quarterback for UCLA, or like when Josh Rosen was in college.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's usually my argument against it, but that's always a popular like counter argument that comes up.
See, so what I think the problem is, it's just California that passed it. Just California, not the NCAA.
Well,
The NCAA is highly against it.
Yes, they very much are.
The
because-
Pac-12 is highly against it.
Yeah.
But as you're saying,
And well, because I was gonna say California and a couple other states approved of it too, didn't they? I'm pretty sure they did.
it was vetoed.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
So
Oh,
California is the only state that officially has the deal done.
Yeah.
So I think there will be a lot of problems because people are going to be going to those California schools specifically.
So transferring out of there.
Right, transferring out of their school. California is going to have super teams,
Couldn't
but
the NCAA just tell California that
that's what they're
I think
threatening
they
to do right now. Yeah.
if you pay your athletes, you're not playing.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily that they're just going to pay their athletes. It's also that they can get all their sponsorships and all this other stuff going along with it that they
You
currently
know
can't get.
what I find so funny is the NCAA is going to tell them, no, you cannot do this, as they're just going to soak in billions upon billions of dollars
yeah.
in the same schools. That's the big I think that's the big reason why I'm okay with it, is because I think the NCAA is the most corrupt system in sports.
Oh, yeah.
really
I do think it's corrupt. I think that
it's
going to the way they're going it with just California, I think that's the wrong way they need to do it. I think they need
I don't know.
to scrap. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
to
need to
me-
scrap the NCAA concept.
Yeah, because
To,
like, to
rebuild.
me, if the NCAA does this, they're just a bunch of hypocrites.
Yeah.
Because they're going to make millions upon billions. Like they're a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it certainly isn't because Central Michigan's playing good football. It's because USC is playing better. Oh, the Pac-12 championship on Fox, NCAA will take all those ratings, or Tua Tagovailoa and Trevor Lawrence playing. We'll take that money. We'll advertise it. It's ridiculous.
It really is. I
Like-
mean, at the end of the day, the NCAA does make a lot more money than what they're giving to the people making the money for them.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
You know, like I definitely do agree with that. I just think it'll be very, very controversial
Yeah.
moving forward. Whatever does happen with it.
Right, like it's gonna not everyone's gonna be pleased with it no matter what happens. But I mean,
I think the hardest part is going to be finding the thing
The
that
happy
hits the
medium.
yeah, like how much a player actually is worth. Because, like Noah said earlier, the third string center on some Division III lower class team. Like they're
Right.
not deserving of the same kind of money a guy like Trevor Lawrence or Tua Tagovailoa is gonna make. You know, like they're just not.
And the thing is, too, is like it starts with football, but then you're gonna have women's volleyball or water polo, and it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
but
yeah.
But they're gonna want stuff, and then they're gonna be, you know. And now we're seeing a resurgence in women's sports. They're gonna want the same equal pay, whether you know it draws. And because obviously it's all a business. Like in men's basketball and football brings in more money than the women's tennis team, but they're gonna want to demand that money, and that's only fair because if
Yeah.
you're paying them, we should get some slice of the pie.
Right?
And then and then we have to figure out like how are we gonna divvy that?
Then the
to
marching
everyone?
band's going to come along. And they're going to want
Well,
money.
and, you know,
the
and-
art students are going to want
And
money.
with California playing the kids, are they going to pay every kid?
Right, I think
And
there's...
that's where it also comes from. Do you pay the teams or do you pay the individuals on the team? Because
Yeah.
in college, isn't it the thing you can't mark? I don't think they can make money off their likeness.
Well, and that's what this is all about. Because like the NCAA, like for example, it's funny. I'm just trying to think of a good player from the Cali schools, but there's really not anymore.
Yeah.
But for example, like
the Ball brothers back in the good old days.
yeah, okay, so yeah, like Lonzo. Okay, come watch Lonzo Ball. Like, or here's some advertising about Lonzo Ball. You know, oh, get your UCLA stuff, whatever. Lonzo Ball wasn't getting any slice of the pie. I mean, like obviously Lonzo Ball has a good family situation. Like he has a rich family, but whatever. The NCAA would use that to profit for them, but Lonzo Ball wouldn't get any of it, even though that the NCAA was deliberately using his name and all that stuff to just be like, hey, let's use him to
Yeah.
make money.
Exactly.
And that's what they're doing with Trevor Lawrence and Tua and Justin Fields and just
I think one of the things that I mentioned with are all the players on the team to make money is that's kind of not fair to some of the players. You might, let's say, two offensive linemen right next to each other playing the same amount of hardness, the same amount of games. One
Yeah.
of them's making $1 million a year doing it, the other one can't afford school. Like that, how
Yeah.
that's just it. Like, where do you challenge value and heart? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Or even like backup players. Like the backup player, at the end of the day, is still a part of that team.
Right.
exactly.
But in all fairness, he shouldn't earn as like you could flip it. The backup kicker, the emergency quarterbacks,
Yeah.
like, they shouldn't deserve the same type of money that a guy who throws for 450 yards and 6 touchdowns should realistically get. Like that's where I think those happy mediums have to come in. Like Noah was kind of saying.
Well, I'm not even talking about the back I'm talking about the third string wide receiver. Like the guy's going to be out there playing all the place, and he's lining up against these guys. Right?
Yeah.
I'm the third string wide receiver for UCLA. The guy next to me making a bunch of money. That'd make me pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say receiver number one getting 200 yards over there. I'm playing just as hard. I'm getting paid, and he's getting
sometimes
paid
even
for
those
that.
lower guys do good. College football games are so weird. Everybody
Yeah.
gets so many points and
Yeah.
yards and
Yeah.
everything.
And the only thing I worry too about, like with athletes being like, if this does ever end up becoming more than just California, like it's going to get to the point where college football is going to be unwatchable.
Yeah.
Because it's all going to be already right now it's such a regional sport because
Yeah.
Like, because I know you guys are saying, like, you don't watch a lot of college football, but you guys can probably figure out who the top 4 teams in the country right now. It's Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, and Ohio State.
The Ohio State.
That's right.
Get it right.
The Ohio State University. Right. But, it's funny, they actually tried to off topic, but they actually tried to trademark the
Yeah,
word.
they didn't get it.
Yeah, that was.
It was funny. Like the explanation for it is well, the reason we're not bringing those words because they try to make it all fancy, but basically is because it's one of the most used words in the English language. So.
Yeah. I remember seeing the clothes for it. It was literally just the.
Yeah.
They actually sell hats that just say the.
Yeah.
But anyway, like you guys can figure that out, and it's been like that really since the college football playoff has started. Now, if you add money into the mix, Alabama, that's all they have is football. Georgia
Right.
makes a lot of money. And then, USC is going to get back to where they need to be because they're going to draw money because they're Los Angeles. And then it's just, it's just going to become the same teams, and then it's just going to be even more unwatchable.
Well, and I think at the end of the day, too, you would almost have to implement a salary cap type of this thing, because those teams like Alabama could afford to pay their players ridiculous amount of money, bring in all the 5-star recruits, promising, hey, we'll pay you guys the most money if you come to our program, and then all these smaller schools are stuck here like, well, we have no good players, and then like Alabama wins every year for 10 years.
I think if you're gonna do this, you Power 5 schools have to play Power 5. Like Alabama can't play like Chattanooga anymore if that's gonna be the case.
Yeah, no.
You need to play. Well, I think they need to do that regardless. But like you either need to play preseason ranked opponent because, for example, UCF and Boise State are one of the best small schools. Like, they're ranked every single year. Like, they can play those big schools. They can compete. Heck, Boise State went to Tallahassee and beat Florida State. Obviously, Florida State's not as good as what they used to be, but it's still Florida State.
Yeah.
But so, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna get all the money and have a salary cap, Alabama can't get away with playing Weber State in the middle of the season.
Plus, you get those awful. You get the awful teams playing the big teams. They're already outmatched. They'll line up against other teams. Those teams also making money on top of it. It's just
right. Make them schedule power. You have to schedule Power 5 stuff because I don't know about you, but Oregon Auburn week 1 was awesome. I would love to see Alabama take on USC or Ohio State or something. I would pay really good money to watch that because that's a heavyweight fight. That's what you get, and then ultimately, if you're the NCAA, that's more profit for you guys, and that's really all you guys want is profit.
Plus, then what happens when the small school beats the big school? Tennessee, right? They get the by some random.
And that's true.
They didn't lose to Chattanooga.
No,
but Georgia Southern or Georgia State. I'm sorry, Georgia State.
Yeah, but when they lose to Georgia State, then Georgia State guys we beat them. Why are we getting paid?
Or if you take a school in a small USD, for example, we're in South Dakota. USD, you take USD, and then you take Alabama, two completely different. Everything. What are they gonna do?
And the crazy part too is some of these small schools they bank on getting playing these big schools because they pay them to they pay Oklahoma paid USD to play them, and USD was probably please we'll take the money we're gonna get our ass kicked but we'll take the money, and a lot of those small schools bank on it because they're small schools and they're just not where they are compared to everyone else.
But yeah, this Friday on Fox, we were talking about Fox a little earlier. This Friday on Fox, from the Staples Center,
it's gonna be
WWE SmackDown premieres
such a
live.
I'm excited.
We're starting off the SmackDown, but we really got to go till tomorrow. Wednesday is when the big stuff starts. So tonight was Raw. Tomorrow is Total Divas. Nobody's gonna watch it, but it's also the hype up for AEW, which I am going to watch.
I'm also going to watch AEW.
Then you got to go Wednesday, you got NXT and AEW, head-to-head, 2-hour show, USA Network, TNT. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait for both of them. I've been waiting for this since they announced it. Not the date, but since they announced it back in January, AEW was going to be a thing. I can't wait. Especially with the matches they got, Pac versus Hangman Adam Page. That's going to be an amazing match.
They honestly are developing such a loaded roster.
Yeah.
You have you're having John Moxley. Now you have the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega.
Right.
And now, I don't know if you've heard this, but from what I've heard, is Finn Balor...
He's interested.
Interested. He did not resign with WWE because he was gone for a month because he got married and honeymoon, and then he missed another month because they couldn't figure out a contract because Finn Balor's you guys are treating me like crap. I don't want to be here, which is a natural thing they do in the WWE. I would love to see him go to AEW.
I would too,
because I think they would maximize his talents to an amazing.
Right.
And I would. Can you imagine Kenny Omega versus Finn Balor?
I would pay $100,000.
I would pay good money for a pay-per-view to watch that.
But I think the problem with this such a high roster is, I get they're going, and they're going, like they said, they're not going to have the same guys on every week.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're getting if you have there already, you can see that where they have all their top guys. Eventually, if you get all those guys, they're just going to be they used to be in WWE, right? They're gonna get the spotlight, but then
Right.
other guys that like Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, they're rising up right now. Like if you brought in the Revival, all the attention would go away from there, and they'd go straight to the Revival.
Right. Well, and I think at least for now, it's gonna work because right now you're just trying to get people to watch.
Yeah.
So like getting like, hey, we have John Moxley, or because I'm calling him John Moxley now,
Right.
but formerly
Dean
known
Ambrose.
as, formerly
You
known
didn't
as
know.
Dean Ambrose is now John Moxley. Or we have Chris Jericho, we have JR in commentary.
Yeah.
And then the WWE fans are just like, okay, well, I know those guys, we'll check it
Yeah.
out. And then they watch, and then they watch these other independent wrestlers that
Right.
you and I would know about, but they don't.
Yeah.
And then it's like, whoa, these guys are really, really good. Like, because I don't think a lot of people have ever watched the Young Bucks.
Right.
The Young Bucks are quite amazing.
I think if you're gonna know an independent person that hasn't been in the WWE, I think it is the Young Bucks. I think, but even
or like I'm trying to just think like
Sammy, I can't say his last name.
is Will Ospreay gonna be
Will
in
Ospreay,
AEW?
he hasn't signed.
He hasn't signed with AEW. Okay.
But if you look at somebody like Kenny Omega, right? Kenny Omega, that's probably the best example.
Oh yeah, people like even
Best
if you don't watch
wrestler in the
WWE, yeah, he's the best wrestler
Yeah.
in the world. You should know who Kenny Omega is if you watch wrestling. But even still, like you get those big names that draws you in, and then you watch these other people. It's like, hey, well, this guy's really good.
Like MJF.
Exactly. You're gonna see MJF and be like, whoa, this guy's actually really good. Well, I want to watch next week, see how he does, and then you draw in a crowd. Like I think
Right.
AEW is gonna start off really hot, and I think if they just gotta follow what they think is best. They need to they need to not worry what WWE's doing. They just gotta worry what AEW is worried about, like what they're gonna do.
So I think they're going with the competition or whatever, right?
Right.
AEW versus WWE or AEW versus NXT. NXT is completely different from AEW. It's all
Yeah.
developmental. WWE is a whole different thing than AEW altogether as well.
Right.
Yes, it's pro wrestling, but it's completely different.
Yeah.
I think AEW need them more like with Impact. Impact also just signed a deal. They'll be going on Tuesday nights on Access TV starting at the end of October. I think they should more, if they're going to compete. I don't think they should compete at all. But if they're gonna, I think that's who they'd be competing against for views.
Right.
To begin with.
And that's I mean, Impact is kind of
It's dead already.
It's dead in
but
the water, but they're just making the last stand. Well, and it's interesting because then you're gonna maybe see because I know that New Japan, I think they were close to an American TV deal or whatever, and then you might have Ring of Honor might want a bigger deal.
Right.
It's just
well, and also if you got these guys, you got Brian Cage and Impact, you got Tessa Blanchard and Impact.
Yeah, you got talent.
You got talent. It's just
you're not maximizing it.
Yeah, and I think AEW will be able to do that.
I 100% agree.
And I don't think there'll be another WCW. I think AEW is going to be the next. I don't want to say WWE because I don't think they will be WWE.
No, WWE is extremely huge. It's like nothing. That's why I say AEW just needs to worry about what they're going to do because they're not going to catch WWE realistically because it's the WWE.
Right.
But I really think that AEW can work really, really well, and I don't know the way WWE has been kind of in the last couple months. Especially if the team doesn't win a Hell in a Cell.
Well, I think they so you think of football, right? There's Monday Night Football, there's Sunday Night Football, and there's Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
I think WWE is Sunday Night Football. Everybody watches it.
Right.
Thursday Night Football and or Monday Night Football, that's where AEW would be in the terms of that.
Right.
Where they're not competing at all.
Yeah.
But they're still drawing the viewers, just not as much.
Yeah. In the end, Vince McMahon just might do what he does best and just buy his competition.
I don't think they'd sell it.
No, they won't. I don't think this will end up being like a WCW thing. But Vince McMahon, that's just how he is.
If you don't know, AEW is owned
by Cody Rhodes, right?
No,
it's not.
Cody Rhodes is the EP. It's owned by the son of the owner of the Jaguars.
Oh.
So.
Yeah.
It was.
He has a weird mustache. The owner of the Jaguars.
Yeah, Sean. Tony Khan is his name.
Yes, I know his last name is Khan.
Yeah, he's actually the one that came to Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and then they brought on Chris Jericho to create AEW. So that's on Tuesday, and then
I heard John Morrison's back in the WWE.
Yeah.
You heard a fake rumor there.
I did.
I think he'll definitely, if he's going to sign somewhere, I think it's not, because AEW offered him a contract too.
Yeah.
I'd rather see him sign with AEW.
I do too, because WWE is not going to use
they're
it.
going to throw him in like they did with Bobby Lashley in the beginning, throwing him real hot. Then they're just going to, 3 months down the line, what are we going to do with you?
Right, because that's just...
You got all the hype from him returning, but now...
Yeah, and that's been the WWE's problem, because like the WWE has never had this much talent on their roster ever.
But I'm excited to see what WWE's doing going forward, because competition is going to help them tremendously.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought Raw was pretty good today.
Yeah.
I thought it was a solid Raw minus the whole Bobby Lashley.
Hey, I thought that was... I don't know, I thought it was funny.
I know, but I just thought it was kind of...
It's definitely Paul Heyman TV.
It's definitely Paul Heyman TV.
But yeah, and then this Sunday is Hell in a Cell. The Fiend's gonna win the WWE Championship.
If the Fiend doesn't win, that's the nail in the coffin. I'm done with WWE. There's no reason the Fiend shouldn't win this Sunday.
I think I might do a recap and prediction show on Saturday, maybe, depending on what goes on the rest of this week in wrestling, and then predict the card on Sunday. But I will say I think Sasha Banks is going to beat Becky Lynch, so Becky Lynch can go to SmackDown.
I also agree.
The draft is coming up. We'll talk more about that next week.
Yeah.
But we did mention the Jaguars.
Gardner Minshew.
We're not there yet. We gotta go. We gotta go to the MLB here.
Yeah.
The MLB season is officially over. There's now time for the postseason to start.
The MLB season just ended, but it's also beginning at the same time.
This is the only time I watch baseball.
I think there's a lot of time when people watch baseball.
This is right with how popularity of baseball definitely have gotten low, but playoff numbers always draw big. Like the playoff numbers are always insanely good.
So we got Tampa Bay versus Oakland, wild card. Then we got tomorrow. Yep, and then we got the Brewers versus the Nationals? Question mark. Yeah.
Yep. Brewers at Nationals.
It's funny how the Phillies didn't make the playoffs with Bryce Harper, but but the Nationals made the playoffs without Bryce.
Yeah.
I laughed at that.
And then you got the Twins versus the Yankees. I think that's
on Friday.
I think that's going to be a great matchup. I don't watch much baseball, but I know
that one it will probably break the record for most home runs hit in a playoff.
Well, aren't they the two most ever teams? Anyways, this year.
Only two teams in MLB history to hit 300 or more home runs.
Yeah.
Twins won, by the way. Twins won that race.
Twins got the record. They barely got it.
They won it by one.
It's all that counts. You win.
I'm so happy when that happened.
And the Braves will be facing the Cardinals.
There was I saw that. There was 7 home run records broken this year. It was insane.
I believe it.
But
it made baseball exciting. It made me want to tune into the highlights.
As a true baseball fan, it kind of sucked, but that's for another day.
Yeah.
And then you got the Astros sitting pretty, and you got the Dodgers.
I think, looking at it right now, it'll probably be Astros-Dodgers.
Yeah.
Honestly, in the National League, I honestly do not see any team beating the Dodgers in the National League.
I don't.
None of those teams are as good or even close to the lines of the Dodgers.
Yeah,
No,
I
the Dodgers, in my opinion, the Dodgers are worse this year than they have been the last few years. But
I mean, I think they're a better team than last year.
I mean,
because I think they're pitching significantly better. They're more like they have Ryu Chen, who's having a Cy Young year. He was not that great last year. So
the one thing that worries me from this year with the Dodgers is the fact that Kenley Jensen, he was so shaky to start this year. Like, he did not look anything like himself. And obviously, I did something I just said the last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. Baseball is all about runs and streaks. And, honestly, Jensen, I think in the playoffs last year, I think he blew a save. If I'm not mistaken.
He did. Even the year before that, when they played the Astros, obviously that Astros series was insane. That was one of the best World Series I've ever watched in my life. But still, he was not himself in that game, in that series either.
And it's just scary because that's supposed to be, arguably the best closer in the league. So I mean, Jensen is, he's such a shaky talent this year that I think it kind of hurts them a lot. Now, obviously, you said starting pitching wise, I mean they're definitely set. There's
but how long can you really go when it may not affect them so much the well, obviously they get a bye. It's not going to affect them when they play the wild card team. But, like, when they get to the NLCS, like, I think when they play the Braves, well, unless, you know, I think the Braves-Cardinals is going to be a pretty good series. I think it could be. I think the Braves are the better team.
I think the Braves will win that one, too. I don't think the Cardinals will pull away.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Braves, Braves-Dodgers in the NLCS. Like, if I were to ask me right now, I would probably say Dodgers in 6 or 5. Like, I think the Braves are good enough to get at least 1 and maybe 2 if, you know, their pitching's off for a game. And
definitely.
I don't know. I just feel like it's just going to... Like, there's so many possibilities. Like, obviously, the Twins being in it, like, that gets me excited. And I know if we can if Barrios can just keep playing the way he's been playing the last month, if Odorizzi can get back to form, and we just hitting Los Bombas, like, we can get to the World Series. Yeah. But then, in all reality, the analyst in me is just like, it's going to be Astros Dodgers. Yeah, I shouldn't hype myself up for anything else.
Well, it sucks because that's obviously the thing. Is a safe bet would be Astros Dodgers because I mean they are the 2 best teams in their respected leagues. But I still have a glimmer of hope for the Twins just because their bullpen is their bullpen isn't even close to the same it was to start the year. Yeah, and it is so much better. But obviously, it's still not, you know. I wouldn't put our pitching staff up there with the Astros yet.
You know, I didn't even think about that. I literally just thought of this. When was I think the Twins, when they get home playoff games, that's going to be such a huge advantage because when was the last time, you know, an MLB team has played in that cold of weather in the postseason? Yeah. Like really, because, like, New York gets cold, like, it gets cold, but, like, you know, an October night in New York will hit like 40 degrees. Yeah. Like in like October, like if you're getting like deep in October, like Minnesota can get to like 20 degrees. Yeah. Like it gets cold.
Yeah, it snows in October.
It does. Yeah, it snows in October. Like that could really play a factor for the Twins. It really could, especially when they play the Astros. They play in a nice dome. They play in Texas. Because it may not matter so much in like football and stuff like that, but it matters in baseball.
Pitching is like pitching especially
with pitching being so down this year. Hitting is everything. Yeah, like that's, you know, and it's crazy because the Twins early in the year, like because they always start in April, like March, April, when Target Field is barely open because there's still snow in the seats.
Yeah, they have to play all their away games right away because of that.
Well, and it was weird because this year they played a bunch of AL Central teams that, like, they played Detroit, another cold place that gets cold. Like, it was just a weird way to start the season, but obviously we weathered the storm fine because we're division champions and we're second most wins in franchise history. That's my case for the Twins. And you look at the last, like, 5 world champions, they're top 10, or top 5 even, in 2 major categories, home runs and in pitching. The pitching, the Twins don't match, but, like, they're getting a lot of home runs. Like, they're...
At the end of the day, the Twins' pitching isn't...
It's not terrible.
Absolutely horrible. Yeah, I think they rank 10.
Like, if you get Jose Barrios 7 innings deep, like, you have a legit chance. They're like Odorizzi. Losing Michael Pineda sucks. Yeah. Like, that's stupid.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, is the fact that, like, from this season showing, Kyle Gibson and the fifth starter, he just pitched the other night, Martin Perez.
See, he's been on and off, but when he's on, he's awesome. And who's that guy we acquired from the Dodgers in the Dozier trade? He was a minor league guy. He played a lot for us this year. He actually looked pretty good in a few starts.
There's been
a lot of guys.
There's been a lot of fill-in guys.
I remember him in particular. He debuted against like the White Sox or something. Or no, like the White Sox. He had like those goggle glasses things, but he was acquired in the Brian Dozier trade.
David Smeltzer.
Yes. I think if you can, you know, because I remember like Michael Wacha. Do you know what?
Yeah.
He he became the guy. I mean, he's not that great now, but like he had a really good postseason run without barely playing. Like if we can get another run like that in him.
Well, and then we have. I mean, we have like that split closer type of role. Mm-hmm. We have like 3 or 4 pitchers that we know if we put them in the 8th, they'll probably just close the game out for us. Gastrow, I think. If that's how you say his last name. Mm-hmm. I mean, the guy that throws... I mean, he throws 100 constantly. Like, he's an average, like, 98 pitcher. Yeah. I mean, like, he's the type of guy you want closing out games.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
And that's what it comes down to. You need someone to close. You need to get runs up and
I mean, that's the thing. You get the runs up early in the first 3-4 innings.
Exactly.
You get 3-4 runs, and you just hold the team
The crucial things for the Twins is obviously the Yankees pitching all around has not been good this year. Like, it's been not good this year. So that's what the Twins need to do in that whole series. Attack early. Like, first 3 runs, you're going for it.
And they need to cherish it, because I remember 2 years ago when they made the playoffs, the Twins were up.
They were 3-0 after the first
Yeah.
inning, and then they pissed it away, losing the bottom of the first.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's go up early and then just hold it. I mean, that's literally all the Twins have to do to win.
All right. Well, I'm gonna make my World Series prediction.
Blue
gonna
Jays
be-
beat the Twins 45-1.
What a great game. But I actually think the Twins are going to make it. I think they're going to barely beat the Astros. I think the Astros are going to have a couple injuries that are going to happen.
I hope so.
I said,
The Twins,
I hope you're right.
I have hopes here. I think the Twins are going to make it. They're having a great year. I think they're going to just continue it. There's no reason for them not to go to the World Series. And then I want the Milwaukee Brewers. They weren't supposed to make the playoffs at all. They are going to make it.
Honestly, though, the Brewers are the hottest team in baseball right now. They're so good right
That's
now.
why I chose them.
If they had Christian Yelich, I would believe you, but I just do not think they.
No,
they
they're not
will
gonna get to the World Series.
Yeah, they'll play the Dodgers. The Dodgers will put them out in 4.
Wait, so
You're right.
hypothetical question: if the Blue Jays were to make the playoffs, would they have played against the Astros or the Dodgers?
Well, in theory, the Blue Jays, they wouldn't have won
In
the
the final, like
division.
in the
The
World
Dodgers,
Series,
the
would be
Blue.
the Dodgers or the Astros? Which division would it be?
Oh, they would play the Dodgers.
This
Like,
is
because,
Dodgers,
yeah, the Blue Jays play in the same conference as the Dodgers, or the Astros.
That was my question.
Oh, I gotcha.
So the Blue Jays sweep the Dodgers, don't allow a single run.
No, but you'd ask that question for your prediction.
I was confused with the Astros. It didn't matter. But
He's talking about the single run. The most dominant performance in World Series history.
yeah, they averaged 10 points a game.
Nice. Well, I think it's time. Brendan's over there sleeping.
What do? You did baseball WWE. What? I didn't talk at all either. I was on my
WWE is the greatest sports entertainment. Well, no, I'm not saying WWE. Wrestling, professional wrestling is the greatest.
Wrestling's awesome.
It's baseball.
Baseball is America's sport in the playoffs.
Baseball actually gets fun. Every home run
Yeah, no
counts at
kidding.
this point.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter if Pete Alonso hits 52 friggin' home runs in a season if he doesn't make the playoffs.
Pete Alonso's
but I mean-
Shout out to him though.
He
man.
Pete Alonso's awesome.
broke the MLB.
Yeah, I don't know many baseball players. I know him.
53 home runs.
That was- yeah.
Insane. It's gonna be so funny when the Mets have to trade him because they're gonna rebuild.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then he gets traded to the Yankees.
Well, it's
It's
crazy because,
stupid.
gosh, I don't want to get back into baseball. I just want to say the Mets have a really good starting rotation going in next year.
Yeah, they
Take
do.
all the
They
players.
really do.
and they could get Tim Tebow if they wanted. Anyways, so football. It was week 4 this last week.
Really weak.
It was really weird. I'd like to just start out with the Broncos, just because if you're a Broncos fan,
I mean,
Bradley Chubb is hurt, done for the season. Probably the best player, not named Von Miller, Chris Harris Jr. on that defense for sure.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't really affect the Broncos because the Broncos with Chubb, I think only win 5 games, and without Chubb, it's only 4 games. I mean, they're still bad.
I think Chubb makes a big difference. Actually, it's that scare tactic
Yeah, but the
of
Broncos were never
The
it's like
double rush
Dolphins were
between-
the best guys. Dolphins.
I mean, I think it does though, because if you look at the Broncos' losses, the Broncos, if they would have been able to shut out games, which they haven't been, that's part of the problem, is they're horrible against the run, they can't shut out games. But if you looked at the first quarter of the Jags game, and if you look at the first quarter of the Packers game even, the Broncos were up. The Broncos do good. It's that as the game progresses, they seem to lose whatever they're doing. And Garrett Bowles, he needs to go. When you're causing holding calls that is affecting the game every week, you need to go. Sorry, he is one of the only 2 players to be on the Broncos that were drafted since 2007 or drafted in 2017. They had like 8 or 9 draft picks that year, so sad for that. But everybody's saying it's Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is the problem. It is not Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is not the problem. Joe Flacco is doing what I expected him to do when he came to Denver. So stop saying Joe Flacco has to go. Stop saying start Drew Lock. Drew Lock is on IR. He won't be back until week 8. If you watched him in the preseason, Drew Lock sucked.
Yeah,
Drew Lock is going to be the biggest bust in the NFL this year. That's not named Dwayne Haskins. That's another hot take. But
You were all in on Dwayne Haskins.
I was. Then I saw him play.
To be fair, we all said last week, or you and I did, it's like, I don't want Dwayne Haskins to play, but
Right.
Case Keenum is playing so bad,
Right.
what else do you do? So you're going to piss fans off by not playing Haskins. Hopefully now, Washington fans realize Haskins needs more time
Right.
on the bench.
But I think, realistically, I think the Broncos, they need to, if they can, they need to figure out their defense. They need to take time aside. I know they're not having a good season this year, but it's because of their defense. It's not because of the offense. Like, people, that's the first thing they blame all the time, it seems like, is it's that Broncos offense is horrible, because you hear all these things about the Broncos defense. Granted, they had a good starting game last week, right? They sacked him. They sacked Gardner Minshew 3 or 4 times, and they forced a fumble on him. Bradley Chubb with a torn ACL. That's why Bradley Chubb is going to be a big blow, because he'd do that Von Miller, Bradley Chubb connect. Like, them together is a different story than just Von Miller. It's a whole different aspect. But
I don't know, but if it's like if the Dolphins lost Xavier Howard, I mean, they need to rebuild. The Broncos need to trade Von Miller and then just start over.
see, I don't think so though, because if you look at the team that we had last year,
Yeah.
or look at the team we had 2 years ago, that's what we've been doing. People just haven't been pointing it out. We got Phillip Lindsay. He was a rookie last year. Got Cortland Sutton, was a rookie last year. Bradley Chubb, rookie last year. Garrett Bowles, rookie 2 or 3 years ago.
But
If you look at our team, that's what we traded away. Marius Thomas. We thought we were gonna trade away Emmanuel Sanders before he got hurt, and then nobody wanted him.
But you guys didn't really trade away your big guys. Chris Harris is still there. Emmanuel Sanders is
yeah,
still
you
there.
guys are
Von Miller
good.
is
You
still
guys
there.
are good enough.
We got rid
to
of
not,
Akeem Talib.
You guys are good enough to not finish 4-12, but you're not good enough to go 9-6. you know?
Right, but and if you look at
So
it,
what
we
are you
also
doing on?
we got rid of the wrong players also. Because if you look at
Because,
who
like,
we got rid of Bradley Roby, Shaquille Barrett, who is
Yeah,
the number
look at your
one
front seven.
defensive player in the NFL right now in terms of sacks. But if you look at it, the Broncos are rebuilding. They're just not rebuilding the right way.
Because, like, look at your front seven. You guys, outside of Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, obviously when he's hurt, you guys have nobody.
See, it's funny. I said that week 1, and you are with me, and everybody else.
Chris Harris still was only allowed 36 yards a game.
Brandon was on my side. I'm like, that front seven is bad. We're new guys. It's so good. They got Derek Wolf, they got Chubb and Von Miller.
See, the problem is also Derek Wolf's been hurt. Kareem Jackson hurt.
No, and
Bryce
I
Callahan-
was saying by week
or
1,
Bryce
the
Callahan,
Broncos
whoever
defense was a
hurt.
good defense. But losing
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb, outside of Bradley Chubb and Von Miller, the front seven's horrible. But
Week 1, the defense
Von Miller is arguably the best linebacker in the league. Bradley Chubb is a top 5 pass rusher in the league. So that can make your front seven great. You know? Like,
Exactly.
Week 1, the defense wasn't good. Week 2, the first 2 weeks didn't have a sack or a forced fumble or anything.
just because you don't have the stats doesn't mean your defense is bad.
I mean, they played pretty bad.
I mean,
Khalil Mack's also in the league, so
But the Bears are a perfect example. You need to start over. The Bears basically did it. Remember 3 or 4 years ago, the Bears were awful.
they got lucky that John Gruden's a terrible fucking coach. It was like, hey, let's trade the best defensive player in the league
okay.
instead of keeping
Hot
him.
take. I don't think the Bears would have made like the playoffs last year, but I think even without Khalil Mack, I feel like the Bears still would have been a solid team.
Oh, I know. Bears were a top 10 unit the year before Matt got there. And then obviously Matt gets there, you're like pretty like Khalil Mack's Khalil Mack, you know.
I don't know. But you did mention the Bears. Mitch Trubisky isn't out for the season, but he is hurt. Chase Daniels is playing better than he was anyways.
It doesn't matter.
So, I mean, Chase Daniels, it doesn't make a difference at this point, I don't think. The Bears are still going to finish second in their division.
Really?
They're still going to make the playoffs. So, it doesn't matter.
You have the
Other-
Packers as number one?
Hell no, I don't have the Packers making the playoffs.
You have Detroit at number 1?
Yeah.
Detroit sucks.
Detroit's been playing like they deserve the number 1 seed.
Okay, they honestly any other year Detroit should be leading that division.
I am going to stand
Every
by
other
what
year.
I say. Detroit won some games early. They are still one of the worst team in that division.
They should have
still.
beat
They should be
Kansas
the
City.
Chiefs.
They should have beat
They
the
should have beat the
I agree.
Chiefs.
They should be the Chiefs, but they're not. You're getting overhyped on. They're not good.
Okay,
They're still not
okay,
good.
I'm gonna-
Detroit does like to do this though. They get
We do
everyone
that
hyped
every
up
year.
early.
Every year they do.
I know exactly what you're talking about too. But honestly, I don't really know who's gonna win this division anymore. I'm just gonna kind of enjoy it.
I'm gonna personally come out and say it's still gonna be the Bears on top. But the whole thing with the Lions, I was the perfect prime example of why the Lions will be the last team in the NFC North is the fact that they blew a 20-point lead against the Chiefs. Granted, it's the Chiefs, but they blow leads like that. So if you're not going to keep a lead, there's no point.
But that's the thing is, the Chiefs won with, what was it, like 46 seconds left on that touchdown? It was within the
The
final
Chiefs
minute,
won
wasn't it?
on a call that was questionable. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there is a reason that it's not necessarily just that they blew that lead.
Right, I'm not.
It's
Like,
that
I'm
they
not
were
gonna
playing, they were
entirely
driving
blame-
down the field.
I'm not going to entirely blame the Lions for this, but I'm just going to say.
Yeah. I mean, but Lions could still go 8-7-1, and they would still probably get last place. So that division's pretty good.
Well, the problem is 6 of those 7 losses would be.
To the division.
Well, they're probably going to get 8 losses.
I think they'll win a couple divisional games. Like I think they'll beat Chicago at home. I think they had now with the way things are looking, they could beat Minnesota at home.
I think of not including Detroit. I think it's going to be Packers, Bears, Vikings. Right? So I don't. Kirk Cousins is bad. Kirk Cousins
It's funny. I'm glad you guys are hyped on the Vikings. Coming from Vikings, I think the Vikings are going to finish last in the division. I think Detroit's going to finish third above
Dude,
us.
Kirk Cousins is ass.
He's leading the league in fumbles. If you guys heard me.
Yeah, he has the most fumbles
It's
in
like
the NFL.
6 or 7 already.
I think they're going to get smart and they're just going to bench him. They're not going to care anymore.
The way the Vikings are playing now, they look like a 6-win team at most. Because at this point now, all defense know to do, you have to fill the box. Because if Dalvin Cook doesn't run,
Force him to throw the football.
you force Kirk Cousins to throw the football, the Vikings are going to lose 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, because like the first 2 games, like who did they play week 1?
Falcons.
The Falcons didn't really load the box because obviously last year their passing game with Diggs and Thielen and Rudolph worked.
Yeah.
So they didn't load the box every single time. Dalvin Cook ran all of them. Packers did the same thing. They're still worried about. At this point, you're not worried about the pass. It's Kirk. You've seen
Yeah,
Kirk Cousins in 4 games.
exactly.
Like, no.
Yeah, like the Bears have the perfect game plan. Like let's
Yeah.
just focus on stopping Dalvin Cook and let's
exactly what they did.
let's dare Kirk Cousins to throw the football and let's dare this offensive line to block Khalil Mack, Eddie Goldman. Let's dare them to do that.
Yeah.
Because they will not win that battle. I can promise you
And it
that.
sucks because our defense still keeps us in these games.
Oh, they
It's just
really
on
do.
Offense, they just can't do anything.
Yeah, no, that Vikings defense is still really good. Like they played really well against Atlanta. They played really well against Green Bay. They kept us in that game against Chicago. They didn't play great in that game. They let Chase Daniel pick them apart.
Yeah.
But also when you prepare for Mitch Trubisky all week and then you change that suddenly, like that's tough.
And the biggest thing is we also had Mackenzie Alexander and Mike Hughes playing together for the first time, and that
Yeah.
was very different for them.
I thought that was a
They were
pretty.
very
I
confused.
thought, yeah,
Is this the first time Mike Hughes has actually gotten play time? I know he
No,
got injured.
he played last year.
Did he a little bit?
Yep, he had a couple. He had his
I
first
remember Mike-
interception
I
last year.
remember Mike Hughes being really big at UCF. But
Yeah, which he still is. It's just we have so many cornerbacks that it doesn't help that I don't know. Yeah, the Vikings. I could see the Vikings being 6-10. They fire Zimmer at the end of the year. They cut Cousins, eat his $30 million. Xavier Rhodes is probably gone at the end of the year. They realize that's a bad signing. Cut him.
yeah, he has
Try to
not-
trade Everson. I mean, the Vikings are done. Their Super Bowl window, I think, is officially closed.
Yeah.
I think that they just need to look into a full rebuild.
we'll take Rhodes.
Good, you can have him.
We got AJ Amos.
You can have Rhodes. I will give you Rhodes for a 5th round pick.
because that's kind of what he's worth at this point.
I mean, he got blown so bad yesterday. Like, he got exposed.
Packers corner's been playing sneaky good though.
Yeah.
Kevin King against Alshon Jeffrey, he blocked the. Do you see he blocked a touchdown and he deflected the 2-point too?
I personally don't think the Packers' problem is their corners.
No.
See, it sucks, too, because game 1, Rhodes shut Julio down.
Yeah.
31 yards. That was it. And then yesterday, he got blown on every other play. It's bad. Yeah, the Vikings window's done. I think they need to invest their time into a drafted quarterback. They need to stop this journeyman bullshit and bring in a quarterback every 3 years, try to make a Super Bowl run with him. Just develop.
They need to trade for Josh Rosen.
No,
but not even that.
not.
Just draft a quarterback, stick with him for 4 or 5 years.
Hank for Trevor.
I mean, that's literally what they need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we have not. The statistic shows it. We haven't had a quarterback play 2 consecutive seasons for the Vikings in like 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's not working.
They need to invest and they need to. I mean, a quarterback is going. If a quarterback is drafted, he's going to a good situation. Dalvin Cook is a good running back.
Yeah.
They have a good defense. It's a good situation to go into.
Yeah.
But they're going to completely rebuild. They need to rebuild, though. They need to make that decision. It's not
Yeah.
a maybe rebuild,
I got a
maybe
hot
try
take.
again this year.
Ooh. I got a hot take.
Yeah.
I feel like the NFL, right, the National Football League,
Yep.
is slowly, very slowly, evolving into a league that every team doesn't rely on their quarterback.
I feel like that's the exact opposite
That's
of what's going
that's
on.
the complete opposite.
We are out of the running era of football.
Yeah.
Running backs don't mean shit to a
Well,
team
I don't think
anymore.
it's necessarily like the running. That's the
But
thing.
how many teams do you look at where they have all the talent in the world, but their quarterback's holding them back? There's 2 in the NFC North alone.
Jacksonville's a big one.
Jacksonville.
2 years ago,
Jacksonville's a
New England,
big
Blake
one.
Bortles was the reason they didn't go to the Super Bowl that year.
And they were the reason they weren't a Super Bowl team this year, a
Well,
playoff contender.
I guess everybody said it like a few years ago, like defense wins championships. Even we're kind of getting off of that point. It's
Yeah,
like you
I've
score.
noticed that.
Somebody scores 28, you just score 35, and you win.
Well, if you look at 80% of the Chiefs games in the past 2 years,
Right, exactly.
that's what it is. It's just
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah,
You don't
like-
need to have defense.
Yeah,
at this
well,
point.
because Brennan's obviously a big Patriots fan, and he rips on the Chiefs defense all the time. But I just keep telling you, it's not going to matter. The Chiefs will still get to the AFC Championship, and it's still going to be a really good football game against the Patriots, whether it's in Foxborough and Arrowhead, because that's just the way the NFL is now. Because when you have the quarterback, everything else will just go right. Like everything else will fall into place. It really will.
Granted, Brenda does have a point with the defense, right? Because the Patriots, they do have the number 1 defense.
Right,
in the
no,
league.
for sure. But
It's part of it, but I don't think it's.
So do you think if Jared Stidham started for that team?
yeah, I was just gonna
No,
say,
that's-
Tom Brady's not the
that's
quarterback.
what I was going.
He's the whole
Right,
off-
exactly.
the landscape of that offense.
The only instance you can really use was the Broncos a few years ago. Prime example, had a really bad QB situation all year long. Like Peyton Manning wasn't Peyton Manning anymore, but that defense was historically good.
Cam Newton was a bitch, and we won the Super Bowl.
Cam Newton was a bitch.
What's he going into Panthers? Panthers were a good team, obviously.
Yeah.
But they were good because they're all around. They weren't like
Right.
the Chiefs' offense, but putting up 35 points
Right.
a game.
All right.
They're just an all-around good team. That
No,
can play
everybody
playoffs.
always forgets about how good actually that Panthers defense
15-1.
was.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
go 15-1.
you go 15-1. You're probably a really good football team.
Well, yeah, no, the Panthers actual defense though, people forget that was actually a really big thing.
That was back when Josh Norman was good.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
Josh Norman's really good
Throwback.
season.
Yeah.
There was oh god, what was the linebacker?
Hey, Thomas Davis.
Thomas Davis.
Kuechly,
Yep,
Shaq Mason. Is he still there?
Oh yeah.
yep.
Was
He's
that
still there, I think.
was Jabril Pepper, or was he at the Packers at that point? Jabril Peppers.
Julius Pepper.
Julius Pepper.
Why is it Jabril?
Julius Pepper.
Julius Pepper, not
That
Jabril
was one of his last
Peppers.
years for the Packers.
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, didn't he? He didn't play most that year though. I thought.
They had Jared Allen that year.
They did have
They
Jared Allen.
traded the Bears because Jared Allen went to the Bears, and then
Yeah.
the Panthers traded for him that
Oh.
year.
Love Jared Allen.
I'll never forget
It
because
was
I
the
wanted him to
year-
get a ring.
It was the year after Brian Urlacher retired.
I think Jared Allen did it to piss the Viking fans off.
Props.
well, let's move on here. If you look at rookie quarterbacks this through week 4, you got Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, Gardner Minshew, and Dwayne Haskins. Kyler Murray has thrown 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Right?
Well, don't forget about
Has
Kyle Allen.
0 wins. Who's that? Kyle Allen.
No, Kyle Allen. This is like his
This
third
is
year.
third
now.
year.
Yeah, he's not rookie.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, they drafted Will Greer. He's the backup.
So
Oh, well, I was.
Daniel Jones, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 2 wins in 2 games.
Again, it's a pretty shitty team.
Pretty shitty.
But
Gardner Minshew,
But 2 wins.
greatest quarterback of all time.
the GOAT.
Tom Brady was being bullied. Gardner Minshew said, "Hey, buddy, you'll be good someday." And look at him now.
Now look at him.
Gardner Minshew's thrown 7 touchdowns, 1 interceptions, 2 wins. Great statistic there.
And
And he, as you see, as he plays good, that rises the defense to
No,
be
and that's
so much better.
right, exactly. Like Gardner Minshew literally could have convinced Jalen Ramsey to stay there.
I think he changed the Jacksonville Jaguars around.
Well, and I even said at the beginning of the year because I think that you can ask Brendan. I changed my AFC South predictions like a bajillion times because of all the craziness that was going on. I actually ended up picking Jacksonville to win the division because I was saying if you get that QB right, that defense will play for you. Because the defense, because obviously the Jaguars were not good last year, but if you watch those games, the Jaguars defense gave up because they knew that they were going to have no chance as long as Blake Bortles was their QB.
Plus, as Minshew plays good, you see Fournette had 200
Fournette
yards
had
last game.
awesome.
Well, that's also against a run defense that is the worst in the league.
Yeah, but as you get a quarterback play better, that allows Fournette to be better.
a running back with 200 yards is pretty rare anymore. Like, it just is rare. You don't see running backs
Somebody
over
did it
150.
against the Broncos last year, too. I don't remember who.
Derrick Henry? No.
No. I don't know who it was. I think it was Todd Gurley or somebody like that. Or somebody from the Jets or something. I don't know.
You want to know the sad thing about Gardner Minshew is he probably will go back to the backup when Foles.
No,
No,
I absolutely disagree.
hell no.
Because of the money. Because
He is a starter.
And I totally get what you're saying because they're gonna feel obliged. But like seriously, like if Gardner Minshew is leading you, I don't care how much money you're paying Nick Foles or anyone. Like you have to keep Gardner in there. Like I totally get what you're saying. And Jacksonville probably would be the stupid team to do that. But because I was talking about this with one of my friends of mine yesterday, because we were just saying like you just can't, if he keeps playing like this and you keep winning, there's no reason to put Nick Foles back in. Like there's just not.
I said that last week too. I was like, I think if keep Minshew in, if he goes, I think Foles has got like 6 weeks left until he comes back. You want to keep the guy who's more comfortable in the system. But, if Minshew... Because, let's be for real, Minshew will... it's just the odds of him finishing the rest of the season undefeated is probably very unlikely.
Right. I don't think he'll finish undefeated, but he has 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's playing...
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be a Minshew hater. Like, I 100% want Minshew to be the starter. Yes. Like, I want Minshew to keep playing, but I feel like at the end of the day, Minshew will... And he just won't keep the touch rate. Like, he's not going to finish like an Aaron Rodgers type of numbers where he throws 35 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Like, it's probably not going to happen.
Right, but we don't know. Like, there's been no sign of him not doing it. Like, he's been playing insanely good.
which is very true. But,
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, if, let's say, Minshew finishes the run as the starting quarterback, bright side, let's say he finishes 5-3, has 22 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Like, those are good numbers, but is that good enough to keep you from playing
but then I think another factor is like, okay, where do we stand in the division race?
Yeah, because right now all the teams are locked at 2-2.
Yeah, like that division's. I said it before the year. I said the AFC South is going to be the most competitive division in football, and it's on pace to do that. It's on pace for every single game to come down like the last 3 weeks of the year. Like all those divisions. Like seriously, it's ridiculous how close that division is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got Dwayne Haskins.
Oof.
3 interceptions.
He needs more time.
I don't think he was ready to go out there.
They were missing their one new superstar receiver, Terry
Leroy.
Terry McGlinnan.
McGlonan, yeah.
He was inactive. I mean, the Redskins are falling apart, and throwing a new quarterback was not
Right.
the right.
Yeah,
I think
no,
they
that was
should've-
just a bad. Yeah.
They should have
They
stuck
need to
with the.
establish if the defense was playing good. I could maybe see if they had a run game really solid. I could see the whole team was just falling apart. There's not one aspect.
Right, like
Right.
the whole team is just not a good football. It's just
That-
not a good football team.
That's when you throw like somebody like Josh Rosen, you just throw him to fail. Like you can't have that.
Yeah.
Right. Like, yeah. How long is it before we talk about Dwayne Haskins being in that same situation where he just plays bad, but you put him in such a really bad
Well,
situation?
I mean, the Browns did for like 7 years. Draft a quarterback, dump him in.
Right.
They lost like they didn't win a single game last season. Quarterback is terrible. Why is he so bad? New quarterback.
Right. And then everybody.
Cycle.
And then everybody got hyped.
None of those quarterbacks ended up going anywhere and doing anything afterwards.
I think part is that they didn't get time to develop. They
Yeah.
got thrown out
Yeah.
to 0-16 Cleveland team. Like, what am I supposed to do? This team sucks.
I mean, and if you think, even if you think of Baker Mayfield, he had 5 games to get ready, right? Granted, he went in there. Tyrod Taylor got a concussion.
They,
But I think-
they were in a better situation though.
Yeah.
The receivers, they had Tyrod.
They
there.
were ready for
They
him.
weren't leaning 100% on him right away.
Right.
Because I feel so bad. There's so many quarterbacks. They drafted like 10 quarterbacks that in like so many years they did nothing. All those quarterbacks, I bet, were sitting draft them as soon as they get a call from the Browns. They're pissed because they ended their career.
Yeah.
They couldn't get off the ground because they got drafted. And how
Yeah.
bad the coaching system was.
Except for Johnny Manziel, who literally was just like money.
Well, even if you look like who the Broncos drafted, like
Paxton Lynch.
Paxton.
Paxton.
No, we don't talk about him. He can't even understand a playbook.
Yeah.
He's not a smart guy. If you look at a guy like Trevor Siemian, he was playing okay on the Jets before he got hurt. He's not horrible. I think he got thrown right there to the wolves, and
He played okay for Denver.
Yeah,
He
I
played
think-
okay.
I just don't think. And they're like, nope, and dropped him. And I think that was part of his problem.
It's
And now it's too late. It's not too late, but it's in a way too late. You know?
It's funny because the one guy that is in the situation of getting thrown fire is Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
Like 100%, it is Josh Rosen.
Josh
He was
Rosen
not-
doesn't even want to be there right now.
He
Right.
was not given a good team, so he wasn't able to perform. Then they're like, "Well, you did not lead us to the playoffs, so
Yeah.
we're gonna go move on to another quarterback."
Yeah,
And he got put on a worse team.
I was saying, yeah, even though Josh Rosen will be on a team that like he'll be on the worst team in the NFL back-to-back years in terms of like draft order.
Right.
Miami will get the first overall pick again. They'll probably draft Tua Tagovailoa, and then Josh Rosen is just like
Well, I guess
putting
I
his hands up, like, "Well,
I guess I go home.
And said, "I guess, alright, I'm gonna head out."
maybe he has a home somewhere eventually.
The Minnesota Vikings.
No,
I don't like that.
No,
Do it.
Who else
Do
do I
it.
keep
You won't.
saying?
Dude, come on.
Who else do I keep saying? Like,
He could go to the Bears. The Bears could take that risk.
yeah, actually though, I would not hate that.
Trubisky to the
Just straight up Trubisky. No, Trubisky and Josh
Do,
Brady
do,
for Josh Rosen straight up. That was
Not
not.
horrible. Same talent for each guy. I don't know. Anything? Vontez Burfict done for the season with
13
suspension.
suspension in 6 years.
I think he is done with the NFL.
Yeah, I was gonna say if he doesn't get this appealed or shortened, his career
Yeah,
is
it's-
done.
The most funny thing is him and Antonio Brown's career are ending in the same year, and they had such a rival past.
I like to think when they like made that collision in the playoff
Right.
game, they just both had that moment, like the brains just got all the damage of it. They
Yeah.
both just agreed, let's piss away our NFL careers.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Same time.
It sucks because I actually thought about this today. Vontez Burfict would be a top 5 linebacker all time in the 80s. Like if he played
Yeah,
in
he
the 1980s,
would.
Yeah.
he would have
Like
probably ended
if he played for the Raiders in the '80s, he'd be a fan favorite.
he would
Yeah,
yeah,
if he played for the Bengals in the '80s, he wouldn't have never left the Bengals.
like he
Yeah.
seriously probably would have ended his career as a top, like one of the greatest linebackers of all time because of his style of play. It's just not acceptable in today's NFL.
Yeah,
But I mean, he is literally what the linebackers were in the 80s. Like, you know, I mean, he was just insane.
yeah.
I think I think the jump, even with his track record, I think the jump for just to hit for a full game, for a full year suspension is a little bit. And I know it's not just perfect. I know he does this every single time.
Right.
It's like, I'm gonna do this time, guys.
Half
Then
the
we
time-
install him and he does it again.
Half the time it's randomly against the Chiefs.
But it's
That's okay.
one of those worst hits this week.
Yeah, you brought one up early.
Brandon Graham, do you see the one on Jamal Williams, the Packers running back? Jamal Williams just goes to the ground, guys wrap around him. Brandon Graham came and hit helmet to helmet. They had to get him off in a stretcher. He went ahead and went to the hospital with that injury. Brandon Graham didn't get nothing, no fine, no suspension, no nothing.
Well,
There was
They didn't flag. They didn't call a flag on him.
Yeah, in the Rams game, Marcus Peters returned it for a pick 6, and I can't remember what Bengals player, or not Bengals, what Buccaneers player hit him, but it was a head-on.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I can tell you what, it certainly didn't look like he wasn't trying to not hit him in the head.
I think they're just. I think while it's sad to say, I think they target certain players that they know have a history of it,
Right.
and others there's like, oh, it's just an accident,
Well,
even
I
if
mean,
it's not.
it's a the right idea. You obviously want.
Yeah, you
players
wanna
to
do that.
Common to.
But I don't know. I think they are still putting that
It
target.
just sucks because it seems ever since the helmet-to-helmet rule came into place, there's actually been more helmet-to-helmet hits. I don't know if it's just because I watch it closer. But
I think that's
probably
it. That's
why.
definitely it with like pass interference this year.
Which that's actually a super hot topic. The new pass interference rule is bullshit.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
coach has won the challenge yet.
Yeah.
Like nobody.
It was
Did you
The one the Packers
the Packers was such bullshit. I couldn't
I
fucking
agree
believe
with
it.
you on that one.
Okay, I guess I actually it pissed me off so bad because everyone knew it. You knew it. I knew it. The commentators knew it. That was pass interference.
Yeah.
That was a blatant pass interference. Like I said, I'm not a Packers guy, but I was just like, if that's not pass interference and you're not going to implement this rule, I don't get it. What's the point?
Yeah,
What's
no,
the point?
then it's on the coaches because they lose the timeout on the challenges.
Right.
But they don't know what the rule is at this point.
Right.
They don't know what the rule is then because nobody's won it
Right.
yet. So what distinguishes the pass interference? The new pass interference?
All because New Orleans were a bunch of bitches and blew a 13-point lead. This is all because of that. And now they not ruined the game, but it's like now they have this stupid rule that isn't helping anyone.
Well, no, I think it's good intentions. I think
No,
it needs to be
it's good
figured out.
intentions, but it's just like I get it. Like when you see it live, it's different. But like when you see it on replay, like my big thing is call the obvious ones.
Yeah.
Like obviously, if it's close, leave it be. But like the one in Green Bay, that was one where it was just like I don't know. Then I don't know if you're not going to call that. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
what you're gonna
Coaches
call
at this point are like, well, why should I challenge it if you guys aren't going to overturn it?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's been a bullshit rule.
I'm still waiting for it to screw the Saints over them. I'm still waiting for that.
I'm waiting for that too, actually. Even though I'm a hoot at, even though Saints, I want them so badly to do so good. I'm waiting for it.
I'm banking on it to either happen in the Super Bowl or in the NFC Championship for the Rams.
Wow.
If that happens in the Super Bowl,
I would love that. I would love
the
that.
Saints change their own rule in the
You
offseason.
never hear the own. Oh
You
my
never
God.
hear the
See,
Yeah.
no, I really don't want it to happen in the Super Bowl because I don't need another excuse for why Tom Brady won the Super Bowl.
Gardner Minshew.
It won't. It'll happen to Gardner
dummy.
Minshew. Brendan.
Come on.
I'm sorry, but that's not happening.
Okay.
We have one delusional person in here. It's you. I'm sorry.
Is that week 4 of the NFL?
That's week 4 of the NFL. Ethan,
Yeah.
who do I remember today?
Terrence Knighton.
Who?
You should remember him. He was a Bronco.
Terrence Knighton.
I recognize the name.
I recognize the
Hot
name.
Roast was his nickname.
Terrence Knighton. What
Played
is
for
he?
he was signed for the Patriots for a couple of weeks.
What is he
Well, yeah,
doing now?
everybody was signed to the Patriots for a couple weeks.
No, but really though, he was actually a really good defensive tackle. He was pretty good.
Oh, Terrence Knighton.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He played with Jacksonville. He was drafted in the 3rd round. Everybody said it was a reach for him at the time, but he was. Everybody said it was a reach, but he turned out to work out pretty nice. He was an athletic, big guy. Like he was 350, I think, coming out of college. He was big, but he was very athletic. He went to Jacksonville, played pretty good. He got an extension with them. Then in 2013, he signed with the Broncos on a 2-year deal to reunite with Jack Del Rio. Then after
Oh yeah,
2 years,
he's the one that sacked Tom Brady.
Yep.
Took us to the Super Bowl.
Then after Denver, he went to Washington for 1 year, and then after Washington, he kind of had a down year. He went to New England. He signed a 1-year deal, but was released a few months later. Didn't last long. He retired a couple of years ago. Like I said, he was nicknamed Pot Roast just because he was a really big guy. He hasn't really done much since getting out of the NFL. He got hit in the eye in a Jacksonville nightclub. He lost vision this time in Jacksonville, so that kind of messed up like his seeing. He appeared in some commercials for Bridgestone tires.
Hey.
That's about it for him. But no, I just wanted to bring him up because, like I said, he was a really athletic big guy. I mean, his last listed weight was 355 pounds.
Wow.
But he was like a very freakish athletic guy. He had a good career to start. I mean, he ended his career. He only played for 6 years, I think. He played 6 years as defensive tackle. He ended with 230 tackles and 14 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions as a defensive tackle.
Wow.
You want to know something crazy?
What?
He is now actually a defensive line coach for the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
So he did stay in football.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, it was just one of those memes. I was looking at old rosters, and I was like, "Oh, Terrence Knighton, I kind of remember him." The only reason I remember him is because of Madden. He was really good in Madden. That was really dumb to go off of, but yeah, he was good for his run, and then he just kind of fell off, and then he retired because if you can't make it on the Patriots, nobody's going to sign you.
Oh, not the Seattle Seahawks. I was wrong. The Wagner Seahawks.
I was going to say,
Sorry,
I can't believe
guys.
he signed with an NFL team, like as a coach.
Yeah, interesting.
Terrence Knighton.
Terrence Knighton.
Terrence Knighton.
Wow.
Brady's the best mascot in sports.
Yeah, nobody's arguing that.
Yeah, if you go in our archives, we ranked the best mascots. Go Wonder Bread car.
Go Pat McAfee. We miss you, buddy. We saw today, I saw on Twitter a podcast with
101 followers.
with 101 followers. So 50 more followers than we have. They are a little better on the downloads, but they have just as many episodes as we do. And they got George Kittle. If we could get Pat McAfee on the podcast,
If we had Pat
it
McAfee,
would make my life.
God.
I would.
But I think part of the reason is he's in the same place George Kittle is. Like
That's
it wasn't
true.
like it
That's
was in
true.
San Francisco. It's not like I don't know where Pat McAfee personally lives or is working, but it's not South Dakota.
We get Adam Vinatieri.
Oh,
He's not in South Dakota. He's in
Well,
Indianapolis.
he's the name.
He's not
but
retiring.
I don't know. I just.
I'm swinging a shot to Pat McAfee.
If he retires, I bet we could probably get
Come.
just roll to his
Pat McAfee and Adam Vinatieri. They played on the
Oh my God.
same time.
Genius.
I was gonna say if we get Adam, maybe Adam can get Pat.
Our goal.
There you go.
We have a goal
Because
there.
then we would have literally the greatest kicker of all time and the greatest kicker/punter of all time.
There you go.
You have the two best kickers of all time.
So, exactly. So,
Those are the best special teams of all
Yeah.
time. Adam
Really are.
Vinatieri and
Is there anything
Pat
else from the sports world that we needed to cover? 'Cause that was our 5 things.
yeah.
Anybody?
No.
No?
I think we should jump to pick him.
Right. So, I'd like to congratulate the following people: Noah, Ethan,
Me.
Brendan, and myself on being the closest this week. Ben, you were 1 win away.
Yeah.
If you would have went with safe picks with the Giants, or you would have went with the Patriots, or you would have went with the Steelers,
I would have went with
or you would have went with the unsuspected Eagles. Really, that's the only reason Ethan made it. It's because he picked the Eagles.
And I still picked the Bills to win last week. And I still tied.
But so that's where we at. So Noah and Brendan have 2. Me and Ethan have 1.
Wait. But haven't I also, like, I've won 2 of the weeks?
No.
No,
He's
you
won 2.
Oh, no, he's won 2.
He's 1 2. So
You have the one
yeah.
that he hasn't won.
So Noah has 3. You have 1.
Oh,
We have
then we all tied.
No, Brendan, he...
I have 3.
1,
He has 2.
2. Yeah,
Then
3,
we
2, 1, 1.
I'm calling
Ben-
guys half to make it easier.
Yeah, okay.
2 1/2s.
Ben,
What?
You saw
this
0.
week is for you, buddy.
All right.
All right, let's hope you have the picks I want. Week 5, we're gonna go start off Thursday night football. This is gonna be a hot game, I think. I'm excited for it. High scoring. If you saw the Buccaneers versus the Rams game that was high scoring. I love those type of games. Jared Goff, he's a little shaky right now. I'm not gonna lie. He's got people around him that aren't being really shaky. He's got Todd Gurley doing good, even though he has those knee whatever arthritis. He's still doing good. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game, and I think it's gonna be 34-36. Seattle barely getting the victory with a field goal by the punter, Michael Dixon, because the kicker is gonna get hurt.
See, the funny thing is that's such a high-scoring game, but it's not even the highest-scoring game listed.
I know.
Somebody was kind of a butt.
That's not even. That wouldn't even be the highest scoring game this year.
That's fair.
All right, can I go
But
next?
no, I'm going. That's why I was talking about it.
Okay, fine, just go.
What?
I
Come on,
put-
that's so unrealistic, Brendan.
That's why I was like,
If you get this wrong, you're gonna lose 2 points.
What if I predict? Like,
No, if you get this right, I will give you $50.
What score do you have for the game?
Just
80-65 Seattle.
80-65 Seattle.
I don't think Seattle can put up that many
No,
points.
It's 11 touchdowns.
I don't think they can score touchdowns fast enough.
No,
But it is against the Rams defense.
No. He's saying the Rams defense is bad because Jared Goff turned the ball over 4 times.
Yeah.
Jared Goff also had 500. He had 500 passing yards against the Bucs. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but when you turn the ball over
scored
4
80
times,
points, I feel like that would hurt the Rams defense so much this early in the season. They would drop like the 31st ranked defense in the NFL.
but I also
Of
think
80 points.
There's no way
Because
that's happening.
that's like 500 rushing yards or like 800 passing yards.
I don't care how bad the Rams and the Rams defense realistically that was their first bad game. Now, obviously it was really bad, but it certainly doesn't help when you turn the ball over on your half of the 50 4 freaking times. That doesn't help.
See, I think the Rams defense is going to win it for them this week. I think Seattle's going to come out blazing, but I think Aaron Donald against that Seahawks line, he's going to get 3 sacks. He's going to harass Russell Wilson. Rams are going to win 28-21. It's going to be a great game, though. It'll be game of the week.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game.
I think it's gonna be a great game.
I think it's going to be a good
Not gonna
game.
lie.
I think Clowney has another great game with the Seahawks.
Yeah,
But I think Aaron Donald just proves he's the best defensive player in the NFL.
I think it'll be a good game. I don't think it'll be game of the week, but I do agree with you guys. I think it'll be a good, fun game. I have it actually being really close. I do have Seattle winning 24-21. I just think Seattle's just going to kind of keep on this little hot streak that they started. So yeah, I think Seattle's going to win 24-21. Like I said, it's going to be close. It'll be a fun game. I think it'll come down to the end. I don't think it'll be a game-winning field goal or anything, but I think it will be a good, fun game to watch. So 24-21 Seattle.
All right, next we got a great game coming up here. We got
No,
Jacoby
I
Brissett.
didn't say his prediction.
No, you didn't.
I didn't.
I swear you. Oh, it's because Brendan cut.
Yeah,
you.
it's all right.
It's all right.
Okay, so the LA Rams, yes.
Oh yeah, we can just move on.
Yeah. No, the LA Rams did not look good against Tampa Bay. They still, despite how awful they played, they still were a drive away from tying the football game.
Yep.
With that being said, Sean McVay has never lost back-to-back games with the Rams. He has only lost 4 road games in his entire tenure with the LA Rams. That team is well coached on the road. Sean McVay is way too good of a coach to have that team make the same mistakes twice, and that includes Jared Goff and the defense. I think when it comes to it, when the Rams have the advantage in the front 7, they dominate. They really do, and they will have the advantage against Seattle. Offense and defensive line, they will have the advantage. And so that will play, that they'll get more pressure on Russell Wilson. You force Russell Wilson to run around, stop the run. Like you were saying, Ben, Aaron Donald's going to be a beast because he's Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Jared Goff is not going to throw 3 interceptions. I guarantee he won't. I think Sean McVay is just going to do what he does best. He's going to coach well on the road. He's going to have a good game plan because that's what he does. I think the Rams bounce back. I think their defense plays better. I think it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game. I have, what did I have? I think I had 34-27. Rams will bounce back and win on Thursday night.
So I, after reanalysis, remembered that Seattle doesn't really have an O-line.
Right.
They're going against Aaron Donald.
They have a D line though. That's my basis.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Clowney still has a good game. something gets a sack or maybe even a fumble.
Yeah.
But
So
I think,
I'm gonna
I think the Rams
actually
defense
put a
will play.
realistic number out.
Okay.
Okay, good.
2017 Seattle.
I
Okay.
think Seattle's gonna.
I still think
Oh, yeah,
Seattle's
okay.
I think the
gonna
Rams are
I'm
gonna.
okay with that.
I
Seattle
mean,
gets
like,
done.
this could really go either way, but I feel like Seattle is going to edge them out. I feel like Seattle needs to edge out the Rams here.
Yeah, so another thing I'm basing this on, they lost against the Saints at home. Seattle does not lose at home.
Right.
Right, so I think...
it's Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, so I don't think they're going to let them do that again. I think they were humiliated, and I think they want to win.
I would like to point out.
So Ben, you're not the ones that have no Rams in this league?
I will
Yeah,
say, I do agree with Brendan. This will go either way. Not it could.
It's gonna be
It will
close
go
game.
either way.
Because I always say the home team always has the advantage on Thursday night in a short
Yeah.
week. They always do. You know, but then you have teams like Philadelphia that come into Lambeau and they
Love that game, by the way.
they
Well,
get it done.
actually, the interesting stat is most of the teams that were on the road won this week.
Well, yeah, no, I'm saying on a short week. No, but a lot of road teams won this week. I know that's that, which is crazy. But like in a short week, it usually is advantage home team because obviously
you don't
they
have to travel.
don't have to travel, get an extra day of practice. But
Yeah.
Sean McVay has never lost back-to-back games. Only 4 road losses. I think he will continue that streak.
All right. Well, next we got the Chiefs and the Colts.
I think this could be the game of the week.
I don't think so.
I think the Colts are going to surprise the Chiefs just like the Lions did, but I think the Chiefs edge them out in the end.
Interesting.
I don't think we've seen enough of an offense from the Colts.
Really?
I think the Colts. I think. I feel like. I know the Colts aren't this is an amazing team this year, but I feel like they always do good against the Chiefs. Like, and I might be wrong. They might have killed the Chiefs. Might have killed them last year. I don't know why, but I have a feeling like it's going to be a close game.
Well, no Andrew Luck last year would have helped, but
Yeah.
What do you got the score being?
I have 18-10 Chiefs.
Low scoring game.
Yeah,
Especially for a Chiefs game.
I don't think. I think the Chiefs. I think that Colts defense surprises the Chiefs on Sunday night.
Not gonna say.
I have a pretty high scoring game, a decent high scoring game. Originally I picked the Colts to win this, not gonna lie. I just thought the Chiefs are just going to run out of this luck of coming back. Eventually defense will learn how to stop the comebacks, which probably will eventually happen. But then I think that Patrick Mahomes is still just going to go out there and he's just going to have the mentality he does every week. You score this many points, I'll score more. I have the Chiefs winning 35-21. So pretty high scoring game. But I just think at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes will be able to outduel Jacoby Brissett. Obviously, they're not on the same level or anything, but I think Mahomes is really that first test, I think, for Jacoby Brissett, and I just don't think he'll be able to come out with a win. So
I have the Chiefs winning 27-17. I think. So I watch the Chiefs games just like I watch the Broncos games because they're the competitor, and Patrick Mahomes came off a bad game. I don't think he'll let it. He can't let it get to him, or I think it ruins everything around him. Tyreek Hill was practicing without pads or anything this last week. I don't think he'll be back this week, but I think they'll be getting ready for him to come back. I think Sammy Watkins will have another great game, and I think that Kansas City will come out with the victory.
I personally don't think it's from Sam Watkins that has the great game. If their man Robinson has been the guy the past few weeks. I think it's going to still be 28-21 Chiefs, though. But 3 of those touchdowns that the Chiefs have.
shady, because I have him in fantasy.
No, come in the second half.
Williams.
All 3 Chiefs running backs.
Yeah.
Each one gets a touchdown.
Yeah. But then it's all going to be in the second half. They're going to get 1 touchdown late in the second quarter. And the other 3 are going to be scored in the second half. Because the Chiefs have kind of had like a weird first half slump. We saw it against the Ravens. We saw it against the Lions. I think we're going to see it again against the Colts. Because going back for the Ravens, that's a really solid defense. They couldn't 100% shake. Like, basically, the way to beat Kansas City right now, which obviously they haven't been beat, so the way to beat them, in quotation marks, is to sack
Right.
sack the quarterback.
Zach Mahomes.
Sack Mahomes. I forgot Patrick Mahomes' name for hot second.
That's huge Mahomes. Speaking of the Ravens, though, you know who just beat the Ravens? The Browns.
The Browns, yep.
Browns, Niners. Browns playing the last, or one, as the last undefeated team in the NFC, right?
What?
The Niners are the last undefeated team in the NFC.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the Browns are playing another really good team, or said to be a really great team, on Monday night. I have the Browns beating the Niners. I think the Niners have been playing great. I think the opponents they've been playing against have been iffy. But I think the Niners are playing great, but I think the Browns keep on this hot streak, and they beat the Niners.
I agree with you. I think the Browns are starting to figure their season out. I think they're starting to figure out how to use this team to full potential. I have the Browns beating the Niners 24-17, I think.
I have winning 26-21.
So pretty close.
Yeah.
I think the Browns will be able to stop the Niners this week and give them the first loss of the year.
Yep, no NFC team will be undefeated after this weekend.
Interesting.
You know what's funny is if you guys are right. Sorry, wait. Let me fact check here.
Okay, no, you can go.
Okay, and by the way, I have the Chiefs winning 31-24.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We keep forgetting about that.
It's all good.
I didn't forget about it when Ben did it. I thought
Yeah, when Ben started, I was like, did he? And
I'll just say that the Browns won. As a Rams fan, I hate that the 49ers are the last undefeated NFC team. And I hate to do this, but I think they're going to beat the Browns. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for Cleveland. Obviously, they had their bye week, and then they would get to wait until Monday. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, I think this is going to be the first game we see where he plays to his full potential. I think that obviously losing Joe Staley hurts the San Francisco offensive line, but it's been an offensive line that's been playing pretty dang well. So they can maybe see what they can do slowing down Olivier Vernon and Myles Garrett. They may struggle. But I think Kyle Shanahan's a good offensive coach. I think when he's given the bye, when he's given time to prepare, he can get a really good offensive game plan. It's not going to be so much down the field like he likes it, but I think he's going to give Jimmy Garoppolo a good chance to just get some completions, open up the field a little bit. You know, he's had 2 weeks to just fully get healthy, and I think we're going to see him in full form, and I think San Francisco gets a shock win. I mean, not really shock. It's going to be a close game. It's in San Francisco, but I think they're going to win 24-20. I think San Francisco moves to 4-0.
So, Ethan, if your predictions this week are 100% correct,
Yep.
then it's just the Patriots and the Chiefs
Yep.
that are undefeated.
Yeah.
Ben, if your predictions are 100% correct, it is just the Chiefs that are undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think...
Wait, no, I picked the Chiefs this week. Or, yeah, sorry. Yeah, you said Ben. Apologies. Ben picked the Chiefs too.
No, I
Ben didn't pick the Pats.
Oh.
But
Keep going.
I'm going to say that the 3 teams that are undefeated this week are going to be the same 3 teams that are undefeated next week. San Fran is going to come in and they're going to win 26-24 because the 50-50 ball is going to be very difficult against Richard Sherman. Just going to put it out there.
Don't you think the Browns have 2 good receivers, though, that would...
Yeah.
Yeah, they have these guys named Odell Beckham Jr. and...
Jarvis.
But then again, I will say, when you think of...
Jarvis Landry is going to be out the game.
Really?
Yeah, that's...
Well, and I will
that's
say,
like
when I think of 50-50 ball, like, I don't think of, like, OBJ. I think of just him, like, running a deep route or him catching the slant and making a big play out of it.
He's not a 50-50 receiver.
No, he's not.
neither is Jarvis Landry. They're both more shifty. I'm gonna
Exactly.
zoom around,
Right.
run a great route, and catch the ball.
Yeah.
But
Good
it's,
hands.
what I'm talking about is the 50 ball is because Baker Mayfield will throw it into coverage and on just a hope. Like Baker Mayfield is trying to basically make his career just like Brett Favre's.
Which, I mean, if he does that, he's on pace to be one of the best QBs of all time. But I
Right.
get
But
what you're
he's-
saying, though.
He's
He's
so
done
far
so
not
much.
had as wonderful of success. Now I will give him credit. The Ravens defense is very strong, and Baker Mayfield played pretty solid, and the whole Browns as a team played pretty solid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have the Cleveland Browns getting the swift victory over George Kittle's 49ers. Yes, I did say George Kittle's 49ers. It is George Kittle's 49ers.
How
Don't
about
have
them
them.
Niners?
37-34 Cleveland. Next I got game that I don't think is going to be a good game at all, but I'm still picked it because it's the Broncos. Chargers struggling this year. Broncos struggling this year. I think this is where the Broncos get their first win. 24-21. You can see the Broncos are good the first quarter, horrible to end the game. If you look at the Chargers, they're not good the first quarter, and they don't end the game that great either. They did this week, but they don't either.
They're not good.
So the Chargers are good in the middle, but the Broncos, as long as the Chargers stay bad in the end, when it matters, I think the Broncos can win.
Oh, nice.
I have it as a close game. I know you kind of do too. I think the Chargers are still. I'm not sure if they're bad or not yet. I'm still on the fence about them. They're gonna win, but they're gonna look bad doing it, and they're gonna
Okay.
they're going 18-14. Got another 18 for you.
I just don't know how I realistically give the Chargers a loss against an 0-4 team with how bad they're playing.
Yeah.
I have the Chargers winning 28-10. I just don't see how the Chargers, even with their down season to start the year, I just don't see them losing to the Broncos. I really don't. So I just have 28-10.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I do think that LA is going to get off to a slow start because they've been off to slow starts in pretty much every game they've played this year. Like, if they're up 17-13.
Oh, Melvin Gordon's back too. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Melvin Gordon is back.
And I totally forgot about that. But but he'll be probably a little rusty because obviously he hasn't been in any football activities. I think the Chargers are going to win 27-13. I think it'll be close. Probably up until about the fourth quarter, they'll get a turnover and Chargers will capitalize. They'll win, but like Ben said, they'll look ugly doing it.
I have the Chargers winning 30-20, kind of the same thing. I feel like it's going to be a lot harder for the Broncos without
Bradley Chubb.
and I feel like getting the quarterback is a big issue.
All right, Ethan, you're next. You chose an interesting game this week.
Yeah, I didn't choose the Vikings game this week. I chose the Bills versus the Titans. Bills playing at Titans. I just thought this was going to be a pretty exciting matchup. Even if Josh Allen sits this one out, I think the Bills defense, as long as the Bills defense stays the way that they've been kind of playing, I definitely think that they could win this one. I have it as a close game. I don't have the Bills winning. I do have the Titans winning. Just because of the Titans are kind of on a hot start this year. Mariota has been he's been up and down. I think he's going to start playing average, not the reason they're going to lose. But yeah, I have the Titans winning 21-17. But I feel like if Josh Allen could play this week, I could easily pick the Bills to win this game.
All right, so I have 21-19, Titans winning. And for the sole reason that Marcus Mariota is the only quarterback in the NFL not to throw an interception this year.
On a winning team.
On a winning team. And so I think they'll be able to do it.
Wow. I did not know that.
I think the Bills, obviously they lost New England, but I think some part of them won because they went up against a contender and they played not the prettiest game, but they kept it close. It was 16-10. They held Brady to no touchdowns and a pick. I mean, that's pretty good. I think. Personally, holding Brady to under 50% completion, I think is pretty good.
Even under 200 yards on the day for Brady.
Yeah, Brady had a passer rating of 45.5, I think, or something. Don't quote me on that, but it was something like that. I think the Bills, they Mariota has a bad game against the Bills. I think the Bills win 17-6.
Yeah, I think the Titans' offense may have been starting to find their groove a little bit. They saw it against the Atlanta Falcons. I think Josh Allen potentially not being it is going to hurt the Bills. I think they balance a lot of their offense with him, and they bank on Josh Allen being their guy, having him play well. So for that reason, I have Tennessee winning. I think they'll win 27-17. I think it's going to be a pretty competitive football game. I think it's going to be hard hitting. I think the defense will keep them in it, but in the end, I think Tennessee will make too many offensive plays.
So I have Tennessee winning 17-13. Although I do have Mariota throwing his first pick.
Alrighty. Interesting. So, Noah, next you chose an interesting game as well. The Jaguars, Gardner Minshew, versus Kyle Allen's Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, since both these teams made a QB change, I mean, for injury reasons, but they've kind of been turning their season around. We're going to see Allen versus Minshew. I mean, both teams are now on a 2-game winning streak. I think Jacksonville is going to win. I think Gardner Minshew is, again, going to keep playing well. I think it's going to be a little more low scoring. I have 23-18. I think it's going to be kind of a weird, ugly game. But I don't think Gardner Minshew turns the ball over. I think Leonard Fournette has another 100-yard-plus performance. I think Kyle Allen will I think he'll throw a couple interceptions in this game. I think Jalen he probably won't play. But I think the Jags defense will force pressure. And I think they're going to win 3 in a row.
I have kind of the opposite. I think Minshew's going to be outplayed by Allen in this game. I think Allen's going to go in. Obviously, both teams are on a 2-0. You said 2-win streak. They're both hot. They're both feeling themselves right now. I think Minshew has a good game. I think Fournette has a good game. But I think when it comes down to the Panthers, just play a little bit better and they win 21-14.
I have the Jags winning 21-20.
I'm the only person who picked the Panthers.
Interesting.
I have the Jags winning as well, 17-10. I just think Kyle Allen, after his first game was a poor representation of who he is as a whole. Obviously, it shows what his ceiling can be, but I just think Kyle Allen's just a little overrated after one game.
Okay.
Never judge a quarterback off of one game. Just something that I've always gone by. But yeah, Jags win 17-10.
Alright, so just like Noah was saying, I think that defense and I think Gardner Minshew are going to be the reason the Jags win this year, or this week. I think it's going to be 28-17 Jags. Brendan.
I
Your game.
just chose the Patriots game because I was lazy.
Uh-huh.
But I
It's also why Sport of the Weekend did.
Anyway.
Shots.
24-6 New England. Tom Brady's still going to be a little slow.
Alright, I see the Redskins went up here. Case Keenum's going to ball out. 73-8. Patriots still get Brady gets hurt. First play from scrimmage, he gets sacked. It's a leg injury. The Redskins just roll.
Well, he's had a calf injury this whole season.
What's the backup for the Patriots?
Jason Statham.
He throws at least 3 picks.
Stidham.
At least 3 picks.
That's a minimum in the first quarter.
Minimum 3 picks of the game. They stomp on him. They realize how bad he is. Patriots fall apart without Brady.
Fantastic.
73-8.
I mean, mine's a tad different. I mean, I think it's going to be a blowout, but I think it'll be on the Patriots' end. I have the Patriots winning 42-17 because they're better than the Redskins in every facet of the sport.
How do you have 2 offensive touchdowns?
Just looking at
Because it's garbage time.
If we took Ben's prediction out of here,
Right.
the rest 4 of us all predicted a blowout for the Patriots. I think it's going to be a blowout. I'm giving, outside of Duncan, I'm giving the Redskins a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. I think they'll put up some points. I have the Patriots winning 35-17, so not a close game at all. But
yeah,
I still have the Redskins scoring some points at least.
All right, so
I just don't think the score against the number 1 defense in the league that's played against better offenses.
So I think
you played Miami.
Said better offenses.
You
What?
can't get any worse than the historically bad Miami offense.
Buffalo's offense is far better than...
You played Matt Barkley.
I think you played Matt Barkley for like a quarter.
you stop making excuses. So I do have New England winning 36-18. The reason for this is obviously that the Patriots are the better team, But I do think that the Redskins, they show flashes when they want to, and I think they'll show flashes in this game again.
I think they'll get garbage time touchdowns. That's what's going to come down to.
Yeah, I can see it.
See, I just think, like, I think back to that week 1 against the Steelers. When they had Ben Roethlisberger, you know, the guy everybody looks up to.
Last week I said Brady would not throw a touchdown, he'd throw picks. This week I say he gets hurt. He's going to get hurt.
You were right last week, though. You were right.
I mean, I guess at the end of the day, you got like the Patriots are gonna start playing harder team. Like this defense will be a top 5 at the end of the year. Don't get me wrong, but I do not think they will continue this historic type of defense.
But I think they easily could.
I just don't see it because you've literally played 3 of the worst offenses in NFL history. We're not talking the last 5 years. NFL history, the 100 years of the NFL, you've played literally the worst offense the NFL's ever seen.
The Bills were the only team to have won any games going into
So are we going to just discredit every team that's played against the Dolphins?
Yes.
Yes. Literally, yes.
I mean, they are historically bad.
Well, unless it's the Redskins or the Broncos or what's the other 0-4 team? There's another one. Unless it's the other 0-4 team, you can't give anybody credit unless it's the other undefeated team.
No. I understand.
One team.
Miami is historically bad, but like, if Dallas ends up winning their division, are we just like, oh, they played Miami, that's why?
I mean,
Dallas.
That's not what it's feeling like.
You said Dallas and Miami.
Dallas played Miami.
they did, but Dallas, like New England, actually has tough teams on their schedule. So
Yeah,
that'll be the difference.
Because that's the thing. It's not just Miami. You played a Jets team that did not have
It's
Sam
our
Darnold.
division.
No, and obviously you can't control that, but we're just saying what we see.
Like
They
you
played-
should be historically. Your defense should be this good, given the matchups you're
The
given.
Bills are the only team with any wins going into of the 4 weeks.
But they've had 3 wins, too.
Again, the Bills also played with the bad teams. They played Miami, didn't they?
They
Probably.
played the Giants, the Daniel Jonesless Giants, the Jets, and the Bengals.
Oh.
I mean, like you said, don't get me wrong.
That's the other one.
Your defense is great.
Yeah.
Your defense will finish as your top 5. I mean, I just don't see them being the new legendary defense.
Like when they don't go up against Kansas City,
Which that's the
this will
thing.
not
Is
be
your
as-
defense
Well, I expect touchdowns against.
going into the playoffs? Your defense will probably allow.
I said touchdowns. I didn't say touchdown.
I know. I'm just saying.
I just feel like come playoff time, that Patriots defense is going to allow like 24 points a game.
Okay, but hear me out. Come playoff time, they're gonna play better because it's the Patriots.
I don't know. I just don't see
We've
it.
seen the Patriots.
How are they going to keep
take
banking on that though? With Patrick
but-
Mahomes playing so good.
But here's the thing, Brendan. It's,
Like,
you can't say that we're not giving the Patriots the benefit of the doubt. Like, outside of Ben's ridiculous prediction, like, we all picked the Patriots to win. We're not saying the Patriots are bad. We're just, you played very bad teams.
The Patriots just have one of the easiest, if not the easiest, schedule in the
I'm
NFL.
pretty sure they have the easiest.
The
schedule.
easiest.
Ready for my game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a barn burner.
What?
It's gonna be a barn burner.
Yeah.
So I said the Thursday night game might be the game.
Yeah.
This might be the other one. Cowboys and Packers always turn up. There's
Yeah.
always a good game.
Always
Yeah.
is.
So the Packers always beat the Cowboys.
That was bullshit. Des Bryant caught that ball.
It is always bullshit, but the Packers always beat the Cowboys.
Des Bryant caught that ball. That was a catch.
This is the Packers. The Packers are going to go into what's the name? AT&T Stadium.
Stadium.
They're going to face Dak Prescott. Aaron Rodgers is going to outthrow Dak Prescott. They're going to win 28-26.
All right.
Yeah. No, Aaron Rodgers, not only does he just destroy Dallas, he destroys Dallas in the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
Like, Aaron
Jared
Rodgers.
Cook throw 2 years ago.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
was insane throw.
Well, even what was it? Was it last year, 2 years ago? Like in AT&T Stadium, threw a touchdown, a really nice pass to Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Obviously, the whole Dez controversy, but Aaron Rodgers still beat him. Yeah, Packers are going to beat the Cowboys, and I think the Packers are going to win off a game-winning touchdown in the 2-minute warning because that is what Aaron Rodgers does against Dallas. 31-27. Packers bounce back from their loss against Philly.
I got them boys winning 35-29 actually.
Was that after they played against the Saints? They didn't
yes.
play good against the Saints.
Yeah, the
What their
Saints
defense
is.
said.
Well, I guess they lose Teddy Bridgewater.
And that Saints defense at home is ridiculous. Like, ridiculously good.
And that's true, but I think the Cowboys made some mistakes with the Elliott fumble, Dak Prescott.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why I have it as a close
The Witten
game. Like,
fumble.
I have it as a close game for a
The
reason.
Witten
Like,
fumble.
I think it will be a very close game. I just think the
198.
Cowboys will come out on top in this one. I think they will get their run going right away. You guys have a great defense. Don't get me wrong. The Packers have easily the best defense in the division. I mean, they have a great defense. I just think that offensive line in Dallas is the best defensive
Tyron
line.
Smith's not going to be playing though.
Oh, he won't.
Yeah,
Well, I guess,
exactly.
but even in that side, you still have Zach Martin and you still have the center.
Yeah, losing your left
I
tackle
hope
is
we
huge.
didn't have Preston Smith against the Eagles, but I think we're getting back against Dallas.
But either way, still, this is easily the best offensive line you guys have played, even
Yeah.
without him. I just think Dallas, I think they'll run it. I think Zeke will finish the game with like 120 yards, like 2 touchdowns.
If the Cowboys win, that's how they're going to do it. They're going to do it by running
and
the
that's,
ball.
and that's what I mean. Is they're probably going to win this game by running the ball. Because I don't think you guys will be able to still get the pressure that you guys have been able so far on those quarterbacks, and that will make Dak Prescott not have to win this game, and Zeke just wins it for him. So that's why I have the Packers losing 35-29. Like I said, still a really close game. I just think the Packers going to run Zeke, and it's going to work for him. So
Okay, so I don't have quite as high a scoring game as you three so far, but I do have 26-17 Dallas. For the reason that I think they are going to run heavy. That's the Packers' weak point, and so I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to expose that. And personally, I am not buying into all the Green Bay hype, especially when they struggled a little bit. They struggled. They had a great game against the Broncos, but they did struggle against the Broncos, and the Broncos are a horrible team. And when you
struggle against
struggle in the first quarter, they did. When you start struggling against a team like the Broncos, who, when you're saying, and Aaron Rodgers is not playing like I expect him to play.
Struggle.
No, like if you look at the statistics, they don't. But if you watch the game,
well,
there were points where they struggled.
Well, I guess that day, I mean, Jamal Williams only finished that day against the Browns with 59 rushing yards, and he was your leading rusher. I mean, I do see where Doug is coming from. Like, they struggled very mightily. Rodgers only finished the game with 235 and 1. I mean, that's not
Against the
paper,
Broncos.
That's not an Aaron Rodgers type of day.
I guess I'm just expecting more out of the Packers than I'm getting at this point on the offensive side, and so that's why I have the Cowboys.
For the first 2 weeks, the Packers offense did enough. They didn't play great. I'll admit they didn't play great, but they did enough to win those games. And obviously against the Eagles, with Alshon Jeffrey back, they didn't quite have enough.
Right.
The ending
I would like to
was,
point out I was the only one that called that game.
Well, I called it on FanDuel.
Okay, but
Anyway.
I'll let Ben.
obviously it was a good game through and through. It got close to the end. Obviously, the ball being knocked up in the air sucks. I think the Packers could have won that game if that wouldn't have happened.
Oh yeah.
Rodgers, given a try or two, he would have gotten that touchdown. But I think Rodgers, he was obviously down his first 3 weeks that he wasn't doing good. He showed on Thursday night he's still Aaron Rodgers and he can still go put up good numbers against the game. Obviously, he didn't finish the way we wanted to, but Packers could have won that game. And the Packers, I think Aaron Rodgers is fine. I don't think there's anything. We shouldn't worry about the Packers offense.
So I didn't have quite as high scoring as
Okay.
you. I had 12-11 Dallas.
Okay.
It's going to be a defensive showdown.
That's a weird score.
So
Okay.
Packers get a safety.
Interesting.
They're gonna sack Dak Prescott like early in the first quarter in the end zone after some wicked special teams.
Yeah, he was
But-
a hit.
Yeah.
This was Josh Allen when he died.
Yeah, and it wasn't called, was it?
No. Oh, no, it was called, yeah.
It was.
There was one in the Passion which I know like the Brandon Graham one, but on the previous play on the kickoff there's a really big. I know that was on a
It was all
kickoff
stuff
too.
on
There's a helmet.
SoundCloud anyway, so it's fine. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to our Mount Rushmore of the week. We're gonna go by quick. You guys don't.
Cowboys one?
Yeah.
Oh.
You guys don't really watch wrestling. I know a few of you don't watch wrestling at all. You guys are literally sleeping during it.
Yeah, it was.
Brendan.
So we're gonna go with wrestling match type because it is such a monumental week for the world of professional wrestling.
No, after this.
Yeah.
I don't even know
Anyways.
what happened in wrestling. Why it was so important this week? I don't even know. something happened. It was like, was it?
It's kickoff week.
It's the season premiere.
Wait, it's the season premiere? It hasn't just
It's-
been going on.
Well, no, like
It's 52 weeks. Okay.
calling it. It's just
So-
what they're calling it.
God damn it.
They revamped the whole everything, new logo, everything. But anyways, if you were paying attention, you would have known that.
Yeah.
So Mount Rushmore is wrestling match types, I guess.
Yeah.
I put boxing, cage, ladder. I think it'd be cool if they fought on a train.
Or street fight type of deal.
Alright.
It's my
So, the funny thing is, they did have boxing at one point. There is a steel cage and a Hell in a Cell match. There's a ladder match, and there's a street fight. So you're doing good.
If about on a moving train, that would be so dope.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
I'll go next because I want you and Papa to go last. So
Alrighty.
our credibility
Probably
is
a good
somewhat
idea.
stake. Because like I used to watch wrestling. I don't
Right.
watch it really much anymore. But Royal Rumble, obviously it's one of the big 4 pay-per-views of the year. You know, it's one that you tune in to watch. I just love it. I loved when John Cena returned. 2009.
2008, I think.
2008 is what it was. Yeah, that was really cool. Then I have a street fight just because I love like the craziness that some of them can get, like with some of the weapons used, and like obviously the street fights that like go outside of the ring, and it just gets kind of cool. Next I have the ladder match just because outside of Degeneration X, the Hardy Boys are probably my next favorite tag team in WWE history. And like
Jeez.
they
For ladder
made
matches.
they made the ladder matches kind of what they are. I mean, you associate the Hardy Boys with ladder matches. I mean, they were just insane in them. My third one, or my final one, is Hell in a Cell.
This Sunday, live on the WWE
The
Network.
reason I actually put Hell in a Cell in this was because of the end of an era match. 'Cause that was honestly probably the last WrestleMania match I had watched.
And that was
Under-
entertaining. Who was in it?
Triple H versus The Undertaker as Shawn Michaels as the special guest
Probably one of the
referee.
best WrestleMania. Honestly, probably Undertaker's best match at Mania.
I'd say so.
Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah,
I guess I forgot
You're
about
right. You're right.
But top 3 for sure.
Yeah,
But yeah.
definitely one of Undertaker's. That's why, because just that match always makes me think of Hell in a Cell, and just because Hell in a Cell is so cool when they go up on
Right.
top, and like
Yeah.
Mankind got slammed through it by Undertaker.
Fun
into the-
fact: that wasn't supposed to happen.
No.
yeah.
Yeah, probably walked away with 3 concussions that day and 17 broken
If you read
bones.
his book, he talks all about it. It's
It's
insane.
so Mick Foley was such a badass.
But it's just it's Hell in a Cell is just synonymous with so many cool moments that I had to put it on there. So yeah.
Ellie, just you and me then.
Yep, you got this.
All right. Well, for mine, my first one is the Royal Rumble. That's honestly obviously WrestleMania is WrestleMania, but that's probably my favorite pay-per-view because that kicks off WrestleMania season,
Right.
which is where we get the best storylines, and that's always like unpredictable. Like usually you get a pretty good idea of like what the main event's gonna be. I just like the unpredictability about it. Also, ladder matches are my favorite because like you just see crazy stuff, and sometimes you get some surprise stuff. Well, I don't, whether it's the Money in the Bank ladder match or a title match. Ladder matches are just kind of fun. You can just see kind of crazy stuff. And then I did Falls Count Anywhere, which essentially like a street fight. You get to see all the stuff like outside of the ring, all the violence, all the weapons and stuff brought out. So basically the same reason as a street fight. And then I did this one because I knew no one. I think Duggan would probably be the only
when I saw that, I got excited. I was
board
like, "Ooh,
games. I
so good."
love board games because it's so crazy that it shouldn't work, but it absolutely
Yep.
does. When which NXT? Oh, it was actually called NXT War Games.
Yep,
and they
War
did
Game.
it. Oh my god, with the Undisputed Era and stuff, it was such a good match, and like WCW did it.
Oh
and I
my
like
God.
watched those replays. Like they're
It's
so
amazing.
crazy. And for those that don't know what it is, it's literally just like it's 4 rings like connected. Like they're in this gigantic cage, and it's like It's like a tag team tornado, but like not. It's really weird, but it's really awesome, and it's violent, and it's awesome. 4 games. Oh yeah, Becky Lynch, shout out.
the man on
Shout out
TV.
to the man.
Yep, man's gonna lose the speaking. But anyways,
For you to one thing I also want to say about Royal Rumble, the reason I like it is because of those surprise entrances.
Yeah,
The wrestlers, that's
for
always
sure.
really fun to watch. So.
that's true. Alright, so I'm gonna start mine off hot. We got an unsanctioned death match AEW had one of these at pay-per-view, and it actually. So I've been aware of death matches. I've watched like stupid YouTube videos of like backyard wrestling death matches, but I didn't actually go back and watch like Terry Funk, Mankind, Cactus Jack, and then I went and watched it. I'm like, I'm hooked. I can't stop watching them.
Yeah. Can you imagine like WWE doing this stuff like Terry Funk and EC Dub did?
Oh god, it's amazing. So that's my first one. Then I got the ladder match. Personally, my second favorite match type. It's just a ladder match. All sorts of things happen. It's always high risk, and especially like the Money in the Bank ladder match, or I remember WWE Championship ladder matches. They're just awesome. And you never know who's going to win because they have had unpredictable winners before. Next I have the Royal Rumble, my favorite pay-per-view of the year as well. The Royal Rumble is fantastic, both for the entrances you wouldn't expect and the people winning that you wouldn't expect. Mm-hmm. It has definitely set people up over the years, and I really like that. And then final is another one that I knew nobody would say, a 3-stage of hell match. So there's been 5 of them officially. This last one going down in April, which is what made me think of it. So I'll start out. We got Triple H, Stone Cold, regular match, street fight, steel cage. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, street fight, steel cage, ladder. Was an amazing match. Orton, Triple H, standard match, falls count anywhere, stretcher. Cena and Ryback, which was a lumberjack match, a tables match, and an ambulance match. The worst 3 stages of hell match in the world. But and then you got the 2 greatest wrestlers in NXT, Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole, having one this last August. It was amazing.
So good.
A regular match that was just fantastic. A street fight and then a steel cage match. Oh my gosh. It was cool.
So Triple H just competed in 3 of the 5.
Yes.
Yeah,
Triple H is the...
Do you realize in almost every one of the matches that we've picked, Triple H has had a moment in almost every single one of them?
Triple H...
Just saying.
So, I'll talk about it in my bonus episode.
I was like, don't you guys remember at like 2 hours
Yeah.
you told me that?
I'll talk about it in my bonus episode, but I think Triple H is on my Mount Rushmore. But that ends it for this week. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Look for this weekend for a bonus episode of the WWE/AEW review and hype up. I am Duncan. Make sure you like, subscribe, review, and go to our Twitter for something we're doing
Instagram,
that comes out on Friday, or Thursday with the podcast. It's a giveaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm Duncan.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
Pablo.